What's up, Mets fans, and welcome back to Talking Mets Hit Rob. How is everybody doing today? Welcome back, guys. All right, guys. So today the Mets are back in action today against the Miami Marlins. First game of a three-game set in Miami. So it is not going to be easy, especially in Game 1 against Sandy Alcantara. And that's going to be a big test for the Mets tonight. There's a couple of newsworthy things regarding the Mets and other players, and a player that actually got DFA'd that I think the Mets can take a look at that I believe we spoke about yesterday on Mets Talk Live. So once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and don't forget to please hit on that like button before you do anything else, guys, so we can get this stream out to more people. Obviously, the game today is at 6:40 game time start. It's a different time that's unusual, but I like it. It's perfect. It's fun. I do have a little bit of news for tomorrow's live stream, which I can't do because I totally forgot that I'm going to the Brooklyn Cyclones game tomorrow with the Seven Line Army. I totally forgot about it. It just reminded me when I got the email about it. But I'll give you a little bit more information about that. So once again, guys, the game time start tonight is for 6:40, not 7:05, not 7:10, not 7:30. 6:40. So once again, guys, hit on that like button. Thank you for tuning in to Mets pregame live, and stick around throughout the entire game. Mets versus Marlins game 1 in Miami. We got Taijuan Walker on the mound against Sandy Alcantara, and we are ready for. It's going to be a tough matchup today, and let's hope without McNeil, without James McCann, we can figure out a way to score some runs and give some run support to Taijuan Walker, who I think will pitch well today. And let's be honest, we need him, especially with the news that Max Scherzer is not pitching Sunday, the finale of the three-game set against the Marlins. You don't have to be concerned. It's not because of a setback or another injury or aggravating that same injury. It was just the fact that if you listen to the Mets, they said they weren't sure what their decision as of yet. There was so much confusion because everybody just assumed that his next start would be Sunday and it would be in the major leagues in Miami. But I think it's a smart move for the Mets, and I talked about this yesterday on Mets Talk Live. Some people agreed, some people didn't. We have to remember, even though we have 2 more days off over the next week, you don't want to get into a situation where you pitch Max Scherzer, great. He'll pitch 4 great innings. Well, guess what? Now you got to use the bullpen for the next 5 innings. And let's be honest, guys. Do you want to use Tommy Hunter? Do you want to use Jason Shreve, Jolie Rodriguez, or whoever else you want to put in that game over 5 innings? And that's nice. You'll get 4 quality, great innings from Scherzer. But after that, it's a crapshoot. So I'd rather have Scherzer knowing that when he pitches, we can get him for 90 to 100 pitches between 6 to 9 innings. And I'd rather have him full go than at half of what he wants to be, because Scherzer is a competitor. And as soon as that 65 to 70 pitch count comes, Buck Showalter is going to take him out of the game. And it doesn't matter if he has a perfect game, no hitter, pitching great, got 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. It doesn't matter. And that's the only reason why I think it's a good idea. The Mets are treading water right now. They're not playing great. They're only 4 games up in the NL East. But that's not a time just to bring up Scherzer and panic. You have Walker. You got Bassett tomorrow. You got 2 of your pitchers that you relied on the entire year. Let them do their job. If you take today, the Mets can beat any other pitcher in this Marlins rotation. Tonight's going to be hard. But I do think the Mets are going to made the right decision in not pitching Scherzer. Pitch him first time coming back in the homestand when we face the Rangers and the Astros. That just makes so much more sense. And it's possible that I honestly think that the Mets in the beginning about a week ago, kind of like fell to the pressure a little bit of the fans wanting Scherzer back, and especially with it revamped that conversation when Carrasco went down with the back injury. People got nervous, and I think if Carrasco was going on the IL, I guarantee you Scherzer would have probably pitched Sunday. But because it's not that big of a deal and it looks like Carrasco is going to make his next start, it only makes sense to give Scherzer one more rehab start, let him pitch 85, 90 pitches, know we can go 5, 6, 7, 8 innings without any issues and without any worry from the manager thinking that he has to take him out in 70 pitches. Because if he has a long first inning, well, now you might only get him for 2 innings. Now you got to use the other 7 or 8 innings for your bullpen. And all that's going to do is tax your bullpen. Even with days off, it's taxing your bullpen throughout the rest of the series going forward and coming home. It doesn't really make sense. I'd rather have Scherzer at full go. And let's be honest, guys, give Scherzer the opportunity to get to that pitch count, and then he can come back at full strength. And that's all you can ask for when you got a guy who's coming up from an oblique injury. That's a different injury that he never had before. Even though he knows his body, he's never had that type of injury. So as much as he says he's healthy, he's ready to go, let's trust the doctors. Let's trust the Mets medical staff, because they have diagnosed finally the ground injury. They diagnosed Scherzer's injury very quickly. Let's give them a little bit of credit on what they are doing. And they're not making this decision lightly, but I think it's the best decision going through the long run of the season. And we got to remember, guys, I think we forget this. It's not even July yet. We're only a little less than 3 months in, and the Mets are first place. They're 4 games up, and they're doing this without Scherzer. They're doing this without DeGrom. They're doing it without McGill. So I think everybody's got to give the Mets a little bit of credit and pay attention to what we need to do in the long run to stop the full force of the Atlanta Braves coming towards us in the NL East. So I think it's a long run type of decision, not just, we need Scherzer back just because. Obviously, we need Scherzer back, but I'd rather have him in July, August, September, October than rushing him back for a late June game against the Marlins, which ain't going to decide the division either way. And I think it's a good decision for the New York Mets. So let's get to a couple of different news besides the Scherzer news. Once again, guys, James McCann has been activated today, so he is back after, I think, early May, if I'm not mistaken. Middle of May. So he's back. He is not playing today. Nito is playing today, I think, because, giving James McCann just one more day to get acclimated back to the major league roster, see the boys again, relax. You don't have to just jump right into the fire. Just give him time. Maybe he'll come in late in the game if you got to pinch it for Nito. We'll see. But he is healthy. He's ready to go. He's activated. That's another thing. Other news that's not Mets related but could be Mets related is the Chicago Cubs have DFA'd Jonathan Villar. Villar was he was one of our best players last year for the New York Mets. A lot of people thought they were going to sign him as a bench role, but let's be honest, he took the starting role for the Cubs and got a little bit more money than the Mets are willing to spend. So when he clears waivers, he's ready to go. I would not be surprised if you see the Mets pick him up, get him, and put him on the bench. And he's a guy who got speed. He can play multiple positions. He can play second. He can play short. He can play third. And he has power, which, God forbid, the Mets need. And you know what? Maybe he might be that lightning in the bottle in that DH spot that has been woefully disappointing this year with Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis, and the aforementioned Robinson Cano. And I think it's time the Mets start to make these type of little moves going into July. And let's be honest, I think everybody can agree that I would rather trust Jonathan Villar with the bat more than I would Davis or Smith or even Plummer at this point. And like I said, Villar is not an on-base guy. He's a strikeout guy. He is not the type of player that the Mets, Epler and Cohen, want on this team. They wouldn't put the team together like this. They put a lot of on-base percentage guys, a lot of good hitters and disciplined hitters. Villar is not that disciplined hitter. But maybe the Mets need to change it up a little bit. I think we have too many disciplined players where, yes, they might take a lot of pitches. They might take a lot of walks. They might get on base a lot. But we need those guys that are higher on base guys to score run, to score. And we don't have those guys that are RBI machines other than Pete Alonso. And yes, Lindor has been decent, pretty good, but he's still not the guy that we all were expecting. And I do think the fact that VR is different than everybody else in this lineup, I think will change it up a little bit and maybe give a little bit more of that offensive power that the Mets so desperately need. Because even though the Mets can come back from large deficits like they did all year this year, it shows when you have a team that we faced in the Astros that have a good bullpen, that has good starting pitching. It's hard to get multiple hits together, a bunch of hits together to score multiple runs. When the Mets are down 2 or 3 runs, you need that 3-run bomb. You need that 2-run home run. And the Mets rarely get those home runs when they need them most. And if you don't knock 4 or 5 hits together, you're not scoring 2 or 3 runs. And that's when the problems come into fruition, when the Mets actually need another power bat. People keep on talking about, the Mets are first or second in runs scored throughout the league. I think they're second now because I think the Yankees scored enough runs to go ahead in first place. But it's not about the runs scored. I think too many people look at that and be like, well, the Mets don't need a power hitter. They have 327 runs in total this year. Okay, fine. But look at all the runs they scored in just single games. They had to come back from a 7-run deficit against the Phillies. Well, guess what? They had to score 8-9 runs to win that ball game. That inflates the total overall. Again, with other games, there might be one game where you score 12 runs or 10 runs. And then they'll score 4 runs here, 2 runs there, 1 run there. But there is a lot of times when they had to come back in ball games and score 6, 7, 8 runs just to win a ball game, which inflates the actual run total. So it's obvious the Mets need now a power bet. When you go down 3 or 4 runs, you can't rely on 4 or 5 hits to bunch together in multiple innings to come back in a ball game when you're down multiple runs. It's possible, yes, but it's not possible all the time, especially through a 162-game season. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you, and it kind of caught up to us in an Astro type of situation when it came up with the Astros having good starting pitching and having a good bullpen. And that's the biggest problem, I think, with this team. Well, Ken, it's not a ridiculous argument because if you're talking about runs scored, that if you look at the totals runs scored, the Mets scored a ton of runs in April. But May and June, they didn't score a lot of runs in May and June. So when you look at that as a whole, yeah, everybody talks about, I can assure you that teams that have the most runs scored are probably not even all playoff teams. It's not just about getting 4 or 5 hits together because, let's be honest, it's easier to get a 3-run home run than it is to get 4 or 5 hits bunched together in multiple innings to come back from a deficit. So it's not all about just runs scored. Now, granted, Trevor Williams didn't pitch good. Carlos Carrasco didn't pitch good. That's the main reason why we lost. But we only scored 2 runs and 3 runs in that Astro series. That's the issue that I think is the major problem. Now, what I know Ken agrees with me and other people, the bullpen that people talk about is bad is not that bad. If we're a little bit better than middle of the pack in the league, they're not that bad. And let's be honest, would you rather have the Phillies bullpen or our bullpen? Would you rather? I mean, let's be honest. If you look at the Braves ERA bullpen and the Mets ERA bullpen, it's very similar. But yet people would say that the Braves have a better bullpen. Why is that? If you don't look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers for both teams, you'll see it's very similar. Yeah, they might have more strikeouts, but it's not all about just getting strikeouts. And I do understand the fact that too many people think that the Mets are a team that are doing it with smoke and mirrors. Yeah, you guess you could say that. But they also have very good players. And the reason why this team has stayed afloat with all these injuries, especially in the rotation, has been mostly the lineup that has been making it difficult for pitchers to stay in ball games. What the Mets do well is have long at bats, but it's nice we seen it yesterday. Now, you can talk about Dominic Smith, you can talk about J.D. Davis, you can talk about Escobar, who are the real issues when it comes to why they probably didn't win the second game of the series against Houston, was because of the fact that you had Escobar trying to hit a grand slam, and he had J.D. Davis that can't hit a fastball. And I think the major issue with this team right now is that if it's not like we were, all right, game one against Houston, it's Trevor Williams. I mean, what do you expect from him when he pitches well? Great. It's also funny that the fact that a lot of the fans, especially Met fans, are starting to go crazy. There's so many different ways they can look at it. Like, oh, the Mets they don't have a good bullpen. Okay, they're not great. We know that. Well, let's be honest. If anybody thinks that the Mets are not going to get a bullpen arm or two, you're not paying attention. They are going to do that. Now, I think there's so many different. Does this Mets team need a power bat? I think they do. I think listen, you can't just have one big power bat in the lineup. And when Alonso is not up and you need that 3-run home run, you're probably not going to get it. Unless somebody shocks you, because let's be honest, when Nimmo hits a home run, we're like, oh, we jump out of our seat. When Marte hits a home run, we're like, oh, we have a lot of 13 to 17 home run players on our team. We don't have a lot of 20-plus home run guys. Escobar was supposed to provide that 20-plus home run bat. Lindor, which he probably will, is a 20 home run bat. But again, he's not the type of guy that when Lindor comes up, I don't expect him to hit a home run. I expect him to get on base, maybe more doubles here or there. But the only person I expect every time to come up is that I would be shocked that hits a home run is Pete Alonso. You can't have that. If you look at every other really good team in this league, they have multiple power bats. Look at the playoff teams. Look at the Cardinals, who is not a great team, but guess what? They got Goldschmidt. They got Arenado. You look at Milwaukee. They don't have a lot of power bats, but they have more home runs than the Mets. You look at the Braves. You can just go through the list. They got Olsen. They got Acuna. They got a lot of guys that can hit home runs. They got Ozuna. A lot of guys that can hit home runs. And you just keep on going down the list of teams. You look at the Yankees, best team in baseball. How did they beat the Astros yesterday? On home runs. Now, not saying that home runs wins championships, because we've seen in the playoffs it doesn't. But it's not like the Mets, if they get another power bat, are just going to become a home run hitting team. It's not like that. It's just that when you're down 2 or 3 runs, it would be nice to you just hit a home run to tie the game instead of praying that you get 5 hits bunched together to come back in the ballgame. It's not like the Mets are going to revert to a power hitting team. They just need that extra power bat. So you don't have to worry about a team hitting 5 or 6 hits together to score some runs. I understand that pitching and defense and wins championships. That's usually what happens, because you see a team like the Yankees every year who are basically home run or bust, even though they're a little bit different this year. They're not exactly just a home run hitting team, but that's why the Yankees are as good as they are offensively, because they're not just reliant on the home run. They're reliant on a guy like IKF, who doesn't have a home run this year, but is batting close to 300, who gets on base. The same thing goes for Joey Gallo, who's a complete bum, but he gets on base. But he gets on base for the power hitters in that lineup, the Stantons of the world, the Judges of the world. The same thing with LeMahieu. That's why LeMahieu leads off, is because he gets on base. The same thing with a lot of the teams that are really good. You want on-base percentage guys to get on base, so you have your big boppers to score the runs. That's the difference. Yeah, Ken, he gets on base. His on-base percentage is pretty high. He walks a lot. He strikes out a freaking ton. I'm not saying I did not say Gallo's a good player. He's a terrible player. He's a guy who gets on base but on walks. He can't hit a lick, and he strikes out a lot. But if you look at his on-base percentage throughout his career, he's a guy who gets a. I don't understand Gallo at all. He's a guy who gets a lot of walks but has a lot of strikeouts. It doesn't make sense. And he is one of the worst hitters in baseball. If he doesn't hit a home run or walks, he strikes out. It's never in between. No, this year No, in his career, he's been an on-base percentage guy. He walks a ton. Walks a ton. He's terrible as a hitter. Like, it's amazing that they continue to throw him out there. But when you're so many games over 500, it really doesn't matter. And they're probably not going to trade Gallo unless they put a prospect in that trade, because nobody's going to take on Gallo. He don't make a lot of money, but a lot of teams that you're trying to get another bullpen arm or whatever the Yankees might need, they're not going to just take Gallo's salary and be like, okay, here you go, here's a reliever. No. So the worst part when it comes to the Mets is that, am I concerned? No. Do they have issues? Of course. Like, you can name 29 other teams, probably 28, or every team in baseball needs something. Even the New York Yankees, who are the best team in baseball and seem like they can't lose, probably need another bullpen arm. They probably need maybe another starting pitcher, because I still don't trust their rotation. But it's clear that if the Mets had Jacob deGrom, if the Mets had Scherzer all year, if the Mets had McGill all year, they might have close to the same amount of wins as the Yankees. There was a lot of games where these starting pitchers have given up 4, 5, 6 runs, 7 runs in the first couple of innings and basically gave the offense no chance to come back. And that's probably the bigger issue that the Mets, why they probably haven't been even more dominant than what they are. And it's possible that, like I said, I mean, we have 45 wins, right? If I'm not mistaken. 45. I'm just trying to call people here. That's not good. We have 45 wins. And if you look at other teams, like obviously the Yankees, they got 52 wins. So they got 7 more wins. If we had DeGrom, Scherzer, and McGill, is it possible that we would have 3 or 4 more wins? Probably. So we would be close to 50 as well. So as good as the Yankees are, the reason why the Yankees have been so good this year is because almost everybody has been healthy, especially their big guys. And one big key, their rotation has been completely healthy. That's very easy to make things a lot easier when you don't have to worry about going to your 7th, 8th, 9th depth piece in for a pitcher to fill the rotation spot. Well, guess what? You're going to win more games that way. It's just that simple. Is the offense of the Yankees insane? Yeah. But there is ways to beat them. Like I said, yesterday, if you watch the Astros and the Mets game, I mean, my God. Like, you have Aaron Judge 3-0. What the hell are you doing pitching to him? It makes no sense. So, there's issues with the Mets, but when you have 45 wins in 71 games, and you're 4 games up in the NL East, and you had DeGrom 0 this year, you had Scherzer for 8 starts, and you had McGill for, I think, 9 starts, you kind of think to yourself, well, this team is probably better than we actually think. And we still haven't seen this team fully healthy 100%. And I think if the Mets were fully healthy 100% with all their rotation, with all their lineup, are they better than the Yankees? Are they better than most teams in the league? I would say yes. Because no matter how you want to spin it about whatever team you want to bring up, and I'm going to bring up the Yankees because they have the best record in baseball. They are playing in the American League, which is a terrible league. And no, Tampa is not the same team they were a couple of years ago, even last year. Toronto is still a team that is extremely young, even though I thought Toronto will be better. I mean, they're not bad teams. It's just that the Yankees are beating up the teams that are really bad because guess what? That's what they're supposed to do. They're an extremely good team, but they have been one of the most healthy teams. If you look at the injuries throughout the league, and I'm not including COVID, I'm including pure injuries. The Yankees had like 2 injuries that weren't even that serious that kept them out a couple of games. They haven't had guys that have been missing 20 games, 30 games like the Mets have or most other teams have. Listen, if you take Aaron Judge out of this lineup right now and he's injured for 3 weeks, I guarantee you the Yankees are going to probably lose more games than they win because that team rides off of Aaron Judge. And that's the biggest issue that the Mets are having. If the Mets are 100% healthy, they're probably a hell of a lot better than what they are right now, even though they're pretty damn good. So let's get to the most important thing is today's game. Mets versus Marlins in Miami, game 1 of the series. Mets have 5 more games until the end of June. 3 against the Marlins, 2 against Houston. Tonight's game is going to be the toughest game of the series. Obviously, Sandy Alcantara is pitching for Miami. The Mets are going to have issues, but what they can do and what they've done well this year is make him work. Do not give in to the crap that he throws. You got to make him put that fastball over the plate, and I think the Mets can, with their on-base percentage, the way they hit the ball. Yes, we don't have McNeil, which hurts the lineup, but I think the Mets can get to him. But you also want to get him out of this game as quickly as possible. So, with anything further, I'm going to say what up to everybody. We only got like 14, 15 minutes left, so I'm not going to try to get there. I was looking at the comments, that's why I was responding to some of them. But I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat. 0989. Steven, Robert, Stoney, Subaru, Mets fan, the Blindbeard. Have fun in Brooklyn today with the Cyclones. I'm going there tomorrow. Have fun, Blindbeard. Cades, RM. Hey, it's Ken. Ryan, Ralph, Delmar, Ken. Who else we got here? We have Andy. We got Ella. We have Barman. Joe, what's up, Joe? Let's see. We got Angel, a member of Talking Mets with Rob. And I believe that is. And Bobby, a member of Talking Mets with Rob. And Christian, a member of Talking Mets with Rob. And Travis, what's up, buddy? So, there we go, guys. Said what up to everybody. I'm probably not going to get to everybody's comments because we only got a limited amount of time. And, the 300 today. Uh-oh. And happy Friday, guys. Absolutely. So, here we go, guys. We're going to get to the Mets lineup and who's pitching. Obviously, I said that already, but we're going to go through everything. So, I'm going to share my screen right now. And we're going to go through the Mets lineup right now. So, for the Mets, they got Brandon Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Starlin Marte batting second, playing right field. Francisco Lindor batting third, playing shortstop. Pete Alonso back at first base, cleaning up. Luis Guillorme is getting another start at second base. Of course, McNeil is out of the lineup, so that's why he's there. But he is protecting Pete Alonso in the fifth spot once again. Mark Cannon playing left field, batting sixth. Eduardo Escobar playing third base, batting seventh. Dominic Smith, DH, and batting eighth. And Tomas Nido catching, batting ninth. So the couple of things I don't like about this lineup, I don't want Dominic Smith in this lineup, but I understand why he is DHing. Again, they're giving him every opportunity. This is his last chance to perform on the big league level before he's probably either traded or sent back down. Escobar has to play only because would you rather have J.D. Davis at third base? No. And McNeil is still down, so I think when McNeil comes back, you're probably going to see Guillorme at third base and McNeil at second base. Escobar is probably going to get a couple of days off here and there. He's probably not going to play as much. And Guillorme deserves starting time, and when McNeil comes back, he's obviously going to be in the starting lineup. But other than that, the lineup is good. Again, McCann is activated but not playing today. Obviously, the Mets probably just wanted to get acclimated back to his team and not just thrown right into the fire right away. He will be catching tomorrow against Bassett, which I think Bassett is probably jumping for joy right now because he's pitched great when McCann has catch behind the plate. And we saw his struggles when it came to Mazika and Nido, even though we figured out what he had to do. He's just more comfortable with McCann behind the plate. And thank God McCann is behind the plate when it comes to certain pitchers in this rotation. So that is the lineup for the Mets. And we're going to look at the Marlins rotation the lineup really quick. You got Birdie, shortstop, playing for batting first. We got Chisholm playing second base, batting second. We got Soler playing left field, batting third. We got Cooper DH and cleaning up. Aguilar batting fifth, playing first base. We got Garcia, right field, batting sixth. We got Sanchez playing center field, batting seventh. We got Stallings catching batting eighth, and we got Williams batting ninth playing third base. So that is your Marlins lineup. And the pitching matchup once again is Sandy Alcantara against Taijuan Walker for the first game of the Mets versus Marlins in Miami, which is basically Citi Field South. We're gonna have a ton of Met fans there. I already know. I already talked about 10 people that I already know that are already going to the game. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of Met fans there. Let's see if the Mets show up, and let's at the very least get 2 out of 3 against this team because we are better than them. And I think after Alcantara, I think the Mets can take care of business against the rest of the Marlins rotation. But they got to get the job done today and make Alcantara work. Don't make it easy for him, and I don't think this lineup will make it easy for him when they face Alcantara. So there you go, guys. That is the lineups for the two teams and the pitching matchup. Yeah, the Marlins, the broadcasters are such big homers, and they forget that they're actually Miami Marlins broadcasters. I think they forget about that. Like, what is it? Like 6 people listening or watching on their network. So yeah, yes. Like I don't. He can look. I'm gonna call him Chisholm, and if he's a Met, I'll call him Jazz Chisholm Jr. if you want me to. But I'm not gonna do that. So I honestly think that the Mets have a really good opportunity to take advantage of a situation where they know. I think it was important to beat the Marlins 3 out of 4 at Citi Field because even though it's different players, I think the mindset of the Mets, uh, just a little bit of a sigh of relief. Like, all right, we can beat this team. Yes, we did face Alcantara. I'm sorry, we did. But at the end of the day, when the Mets know they can beat them, I think it's a little bit better. And I feel like this offense is going to come alive during this series. I just don't know why. I honestly think they were very frustrated with the Astros series. I think they pressed a little bit. I think they wanted to show up against a really good team. And let's be honest, the Mets haven't fared well against American League teams, or at least the American League West teams. For the most part, they haven't played great against those teams. And I think they wanted to face a team like the Astros and wanted to perform well. I don't know if they overhyped the series, which they shouldn't have. It's only a June series, but they actually seemed like they were squeezing the bat a little tighter. They were trying to do too much when all they had to do was just play the game of baseball like they have all year for the first 69 games of the season before the last 2. So I think the Mets are going to get back to it. You know, it's not like the Mets didn't have opportunities in the Astros series. They did. They just didn't get it done. I don't expect that to happen more often than not with this team. So expect them to do exactly what they did against the Astros. They got hits against the Astros. They just couldn't score the runs. I think that's going to change with this series against the Marlins. But let's hope that happens because as much as I don't think the Mets are going to relinquish first place, you don't want it to get much closer because you don't want to have that situation where you're going to have a 4 or 5 game losing streak, which the Mets haven't had this year, and the Braves win 4 or 5 in a row, and then guess what? You're tied. But tonight is one of the most important games of the year. The reason why I say that is because the Mets still haven't lost 3 games in a row this year. Again, if they lose 3 in a row, it's not the end of the world. But I think the resiliency that we've seen from this team all year, when a couple of times this year we lost 2 in a row and we stopped that losing streak at 2, I think it's important for the team to continue to do that. Even though at some point they're going to lose 3 in a row, I think right now would be optimal just to show more resiliency and get the job done today and go back to taking that losing streak off the table, have that win on game one of the series, and go forward and start a winning streak. But I think it is very important, especially the way the Mets played in Houston. They didn't play the way they usually play. And I think it's important for them, not just with mindset, just to show them, just to give them a little bit of more, I want to say hope, but a little bit more confidence, I would say, where they're like, all right, we got this. Look at this. We're resilient once again. And I think they have to prove it more to the fans than themselves, but I think they are very confident. to some Met fans, not really me, but I look, like I said, 3 losing streaks suck. You know, 3 games losing streak is not the end of the world. Every team goes through it, but I'd like to see the Mets be resilient in today's game and prevent a 3-game losing streak. And if you want it a little bit down the road, fine. But I think it's important to get this win today, and especially you always want to start off the series winning the first game because you have a little bit of room to maneuver when it comes to the next 2 games. You only have to take one more to win the series instead of winning the next 2. Because I think what it's going to do if we lose tonight, we finally lose the first 3 in a row. Now, to win the series, you got to take the next 2. And I think that puts a little bit more pressure on the team that I don't think they need at this point. I think they've done well, but let's try to get that pressure away and get it out of the way and not worry about, oh, wow, if we don't win the series, we could lose 4 in a row or 4 out of our last 5. You don't want that, especially with the Braves breathing down on that. So in a few minutes, guys, the game's going to start. So let me just say, Roberto, a member of Talking Mets Rob, what's up? Well, you know what? It's not just Met fans; it's all fans. Like the other day when the Yankees lost to the Rays, like if you listen to sports talk radio in New York, you thought the Yankees lost 10 in a row and they were in 3rd place. Like that's the way they sound. Like they were already bitching about Gallo. They were yelling at Stanton for not doing anything since he came back from injury, and that was what they were doing. And so every team goes through especially when the team doesn't have, uh, is not going to win 162 games, and majority of the fans for almost a lot of teams panic because when you see a team play really badly in the game, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. That's the way a lot of fans think. Ryan, when it comes to Guillermo batting fifth, I don't like it either, but I understand it because let's be honest, Guillermo has been one of the hottest hitters in this lineup, and he's a guy that is getting on base, is working the count, and it's not ideal, but I understand what Showalter's doing because if it wasn't Guillermo, it would be McNeil behind him, most likely. So it's not like they're putting Escobar behind him again. If they did that again, I'd be pissed. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. Well, the Mets, hit Lopez pretty well in Citi Field. So again, it's a 3-game set. I'm not sure if we face him. We probably do, but since we're facing Alcantara today, so it's their ace, and I think Lopez is like their 2nd or 3rd starter, so we might be facing him in the series. I haven't checked the pitching matchups, but let's be honest. The Mets can beat anybody offensively. They can beat up on any pitcher. Again, if they play their game, if they make the pitcher work and make the pitcher get frustrated, they can beat anybody. They can beat Alcantara. I think they're going to have to do exactly what they usually do, and is that work the count, follow off pitches, have professional at-bats, and you have them out in the 5th inning if he throws 80, 90 pitches. That's what we have to do. So it doesn't really matter who's available or who's going to be or who's pitching. I think look, any pitcher can pitch great at any time. But I think if the Mets don't play their game, the pitcher's going to take well advantage of it, and that's the problem. Yeah, Joe. So he's going to stay in Florida, so he's definitely going to pitch against in Port St. Lucie. And Tim Healy just tweeted it. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So he'll pitch and then either fly back with the team back to New York to play the Rangers or fly back after his start. But again, if he pitches on Sunday, I'm assuming he'll meet the team at the airport because I think they're both day games. The Port St. Lucie game is a day game, and the Mets play a Sunday day game. So Scherzer might just meet him at the airport and then fly back to New York with them. So that's where we are right now. So we're just waiting for the game to start. The umpires are at home plate. The managers are ready to send the lineup cards to home plate. So just waiting for that. Once again, guys, I'm going to put the pitching matchup and the lineup for the Mets underneath the screen scrolling. So if you don't remember the lineup, you can see it at the bottom of your screen. MLB Game Day is ready to go. The Mets lineup is showing on SNY. They're doing some type of light fixtures and blinking. I guess the Marlins are coming out on the field, so that's kind of cool actually. But the Marlins are coming on the field just now with their intro right now with the lights flickering and all that crazy mountain stuff. So sorry, a little distracting. I saw the lights blinking. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But that's kind of cool, especially in a dome. It looks a lot better. So again, it's a decent crowd in the lower bowl in Lone Depot Park. Obviously, mostly Met fans, so it's going to be a Mets contingent there. I call it Citi Field South. Just like Yankees, Tampa is basically Yankee Stadium South. So we're still waiting for the game to start. The umpires are going to their positions. The Marlins are about to come on the field, and just waiting for it to go down so we can listen to. It's a little late. We're supposed to start at 6:40. It's 6:41. That's not a good sign. But we're still waiting. I'll just look at the comments really quick. Well, you got to make it good for the fans who actually paid. They're mostly Met fans. So, again, I like different intros for teams. So the Marlins are on the field. Alcantara is on the mound. Black jersey, white pants, and I believe the Mets are wearing their road grays and are ready to go. So I'm going to put up the volume, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear it in the comments.
26 years old. Only they started the last 3 years for the Marlins, and on a talented young pitching staff, he has set himself apart. Well, watching him, he throws his first 3 warm-up pitches. Yeah, 4 now in front of the mound. I've never seen that. I've seen guys throw from behind the mound. I've never seen him throw in front of the mound. That's where he intends to pitch from today. He's wondering whether anybody will notice. Honestly, when people hit against him, they feel like he's pitching in front of the mound. He took around 6-7 pitches from that 3 feet in front of the rubber.
No, I haven't been to Marlins Park yet. I think I'm gonna go. I'm deciding if I'm going to Oakland or Miami in September because they play both teams. So I want to go with Oakland because the Seven Lane's going. But again, I already been to California, and I haven't been to the Coliseum yet, which is not great anyway. So I'd rather just go to Miami and check out that park, but we'll see. Apple Plays, how you doing?
Back in that lineup. Luke Williams. Rojas was a late scratch, so Luke Williams was shoved third base, and John Birdie from third to shortstop. So there.
All right, guys. So just waiting for Brandon Nimmo is getting to the plate. They're 3 minutes late to start time. No clarity for 2 days only. All right, guys. So here we go. Here's the call. Nimmo at the plate. Game 1 of the series. Alcantara on the mound.
Nimmo 5-for-13 over his last 3 games, up to 216 on the year, 361 on base percentage. Marte and Lindor to follow in the opening inning. And Nimmo flies one out to left center, cutting across. Sanchez took a bad angle, but he makes up for it.
All right, so Nimmo's hit is somewhat hard. Center fielder caught it.
Not hit as solidly as Sanchez immediately thought, but he was able to make the correction, take a hard left turn, and make the grab for the first down. And even though they have brought the fences in, look at the shade of center fielder Sanchez to the opposite field against Nimmo. They don't do it on the infield, which is baffles me, but certainly correctly in the outfield. Even though they brought the fences in here, this is still a big ballpark, and you need a solid center fielder defensively to patrol that outfield.
Just want to make sure you guys can hear the call. Let me know. Yeah, I figured they're a little choppy because I was just listening to it right now.
Marte 1 for 7 in the series in Houston, 278 on the year. Starts with a fastball going away for ball 1. Mets today are trying to avoid something that has not transpired through the first 71 games. The Mets have yet to lose 3 games in a row after losing the 2 in Houston. Rather than being that today against one of the best pitchers in the game. To the last team, right, Jerry? Everyone else has lost 3 in a row, I believe.
I just listened to it on my phone. It sounds a little bit better now. I don't know if it turned out better now.
Contra coming out with the patented sinker. too hot for the birdie. And his throw is true for the second half. The Braves went 14-0.
Apple plays? No, they did not. Not yet.
And then lost that game against the Giants 12-10. They made it 3 in a row. The Braves won yesterday, beat the Giants in the final game of that series. They're now 18-3-2, and just 4 games behind the Mets, matching the closest they've been since early May. Here's Francisco Lindor, a couple of hits in the game on Wednesday. Mets were here in South Florida yesterday, enjoying a day off with 3 days off in an 8-day span. That's very helpful for this team right now. McNeil nursing the hamstring injury, and Carrasco coming out of his last start with the back problem, and waiting for Scherzer to be ready, and waiting for DeGrom, and trying to get everybody healthy. It's probably the best time of year to have a few days off. Lindor has good numbers against Alcantara, 5 hits and 16 career at-bats.
And they've got the shift on Lindor, and I can see that Lindor is more of a pull hitter than the other left-hand hitters in this lineup.
Takes a slider for
Come on, Frankie.
Pretty much straight up in the outfield.
And the 8-mile-an-hour fastball there from Alcantara, who has more than just a 2-seamer. He'll come with that 4-seamer as well.
Good hard slider and the baffling changeup.
2 out and nobody on, 1-2 to Lindor. And he tries to hold on the slider, and he held it in time. Yes, he did. Third base umpire Bruce Strickland with the call, and it's 2-2.
Tough pitch to lay off right there. That was a hard slider, yeah. See, hard slider in, change up away. Let's see. No, back in. And bled out over the middle.
99-mile-an-hour fastball from Alcantara. His average fastball velocity.
So 10 pitches so far for Alcantara.
7.7.
Lindor had an RBI single against Alcantara in that last 6-2 loss.
Again, he's able to
Nice slider, but Lindor held up.
Good at bat for Lindor.
I'll tell you what, he laid off 2 tough sliders. I think he's just going to run a little sinker away here.
Jesus, Eric, what's up?
Alonso would be next.
Lindor's putting together a very good at-bat.
Little dance by Wayne Kirby getting out of the way.
And Kirby and Aguilar having a little.
He just booted him back to his position.
Aguilar likes to mess with just about everybody. He's as fun a guy on the field as there is in baseball. 3-2 coming.
Lindor hits a shot. That might be gone. Gone. Home run. All right, Frankie. He missed first base, but he touched it. There we go. Just cleared the right center field wall, and the Mets lead 1-0. Yes. All right, Frankie. There we go. Listen to the Met fans, guys. Boom. Whew, that was a shot.
With the sliders, and then wanted to come with the sinker and see how it didn't sink because it was
Just got over that wall.
The same plane above the belt, and Lindor covered it. What a terrific at bat.
He was looking at the ball. He almost Lindor hit a home run to center field.
Sandy Alcantara has allowed in 100 innings this year. Had to go back and touch first.
He had to go back and touch first. Luckily, he didn't touch second. He would have been out.
Make sure that ball cleared the wall, which it just did.
And Alonso hits a shot but right at the left fielder to end the inning. All right, guys. So a nice at bat for Lindor that turned into a 2-out home run for Lindor. So that was a nice piece of hitting by Lindor. He continues to hit Alcantara well and gives the Mets a 1-0 lead with Taijuan Walker coming to the mound in the bottom of the first. Yeah, Christian, we talked about during pregame. Cubs did DFA VR. Again, he might be he's a decent option. He can play three spots in the infield. He can hit for power for sure. So he's not the type of hitter the Mets are that put together. This team is not not much of the same. A lot of on base percentage guys. VR is not. He's a home run guy and he's a strikeout guy. But a little bit of change in this lineup might be good, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets take a look at him and bring him back. Hey, Rafael, enjoy South Carolina. It's probably very nice there right now. So once again, guys, Lindor with a 2-out home run, and he gives the Mets a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the first. Let's see what Taijuan Walker could do with the early 1-0 lead. And once again, guys, we got 95 people in the stream right now. Don't forget to please hit on that like button. Don't forget, please, so we can get more of the stream to more baseball fans, of course, more Met fans, so we can have this watch party with the Mets versus Marlins and talk baseball. And we're going to the bottom of the first. Here we go, guys. Starting lineup for the Marlins by Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez.
Straight stolen bases. Stolen 17 in the month of June without being caught. Something else. Aguilar and Sanchez back in there, and Taijuan Walker with a gem of a start against the Marlins his last time out. Yeah, it's the ball again.
You're right, Jerry. We mentioned before 62 thirds, 9 Ks. That is the most significant part of the pickup in his starts the last 4 or 5 or so. The strikeouts are now starting to come.
His last 2 starts, he struck out 19 and 12 and 2/3. That's 13 and a half strikeouts per 9 for the year. He's at 6.7. He basically doubled his strikeout.
All right, here we go, guys. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Mets.
John Birdie reached against Walker to start that game in New York, and then Walker retired 18 in a row. And Birdie with a half swing on his first fastball, and he went around strike 1.
Well, Vientos in his last 30 games has 10 home runs. I think 6 doubles. He's played very well. Lindor hit a home run in the first.
First or second spot of the batting order, the way he's hitting, the way he's reaching base, and the way he's stealing bases. Slider wants to play for Walker 1-1.
Okay, Birdie can play a little outfield if he need be, right?
He can play shortstop, he can play second, he can play. He'll play first base too.
Yeah.
They move in center field.
That's going to be a tough play. Yeah, that was going to be a tough play. Lindor had a barehanded. Because Birdie runs fast. What can you do? Thor, what's up, buddy?
And then he stole second and third.
Well, the 4-game series here, I mean, there's nothing that Lindor can do here. I think even if he cleanly barehands this.
So a leadoff base hit for Birdie.
Birdie. In the 4-game series in New York, the Marlins were successful with 8 stolen bases, 3 against.
So I got to be careful with Birdie here. Stealing bases. Walker does have a great move. Yep, Anthony, they continue to do that.
4 of those 8 stolen bases.
Remember, Walker's got as good a move as any right-hander in the
All right, so it's a big lead for Birdie right here. Walker got a good move to first.
Last game of that series, Taijuan uses the D moves.
I'm just curious to see if the Mets incorporate a.
Well, with that speed, that's all you have to do is put the ball on the ground in the infield.
Yes, Chisholm hitting second in the order. His 14th home run yesterday against the Rockies. There's the C move. He's working his way up. Chisholm having a much different kind of a year than last year. He's hitting a lot more power. He's 6th in the National League in slugging percentage.
The batting average is not there because he is trying to lift and pull.
Sure, lead for Birdie this time. Not going to make him. Chisholm takes fastball for a strike.
Ball double behind the plate, always been aggressive strike caller.
Well, if I'm moving from New York to Miami, I'm not moving to Miami because I don't want to be in the city life. I want to get a little bit outside the city, a little bit more calmer. Oof, there was a big woof. Just got in there.
Walker worked his way up to his A move and nearly got him.
Walker does a little thing with his chin, if you notice. He will lift his chin like he's going home, and that's when he goes to first. He's got a couple of different things he does to fool you.
Escobar in on the grass at third against Chisholm. Birdie again gets the hand back in. The Marlins have been in such a base-stealing groove since Birdie's been playing every day. They have now had a stolen base, the Marlins have, in 16 consecutive games, which is already a franchise record.
All right, nice jam. Pitch by Walker. 0-2 count to Chisholm.
17 to 17 in June. The record for most stolen bases without being caught in a calendar month is 21. Willie Wilson did that with Kansas City in 1979. The closest anybody's come since, last year's starting Marte with the A's in August of last year was 19 for 19. So Birdie bearing down on those guys with half a dozen days left of the month.
Birdie with a very aggressive lead.
I'd rather have Florida too hot than worry about snow every freaking month and only have summer for 2.5 months.
Splitter in the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Okay, so they're batting third in the order. He's on deck.
Keith took the biggest lead.
Fort Lauderdale too. That's true. 88 here. Well, it's about. I think it's like 78 in New York right now. But then again, we only get this like twice a month. So 77.
I know guys that
I think it
took
was.
big leads, but I couldn't zero in on a handful that.
Oh, Birdie might be out. Got him. Yes. Got him. Got him this time. All right, they're gonna probably review this because it was close.
Birdie was picked off by David Peterson last weekend. Gets picked off by Taiwan Walker for the first out.
He was going.
He's safe. He got back. Yeah. He got back. He got back. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's close.
Let's see the guy who's running out of time, and now he finally decides that he does want to challenge.
He's at.
Looks like he's safe. But then again, they need inconclusive evidence that he's safe because the call on the field is out. Yeah, 70-degree weather in January, February, March. I'll take that. With no risk of snow, I'll take that. So waiting for the ruling.
There are people that are back, reading all these things, watching, and making a decision. I still think part of managing the team is making a decision. Let the managers make a decision instantaneously. Could not agree more. What did you say? I think we got that. Because
Close.
after all, guys, the reason why replay was instituted was to eliminate the egregiously bad calls. I think they could do either way. I think since he was called out, I think they're not going to overturn. He had his fingers in the air. The question is, does it palm hit on the end of the base? The base of that fatty part of your zone at the bottom? Maybe that it? I don't know.
And Barrett and C.V. Buckner.
So we're just waiting for it?
Yeah, the replay center in New York is a different angle.
I don't think they're going to overturn it.
I don't think they're going to overturn this because it's too close to overturn it. I mean, it's got to be inconclusive. So I think they're going to lose their challenge, and it's going to be an out.
It did appear its fingers were in the air, so the question is, did his palm hit the bag before the tag?
Well, the asterisk now is he's 17 for 17 in June, but he's got picked off twice in the last week.
That doesn't count.
I know it doesn't count, but it counts in my book.
After review, the call on the field stands.
Yes, he's out. Too close to overturn.
Well, Johnny waited a long time before challenging, and he winds up losing his challenge at the bottom of the first.
So that's good for us to lose that challenge.
They do a lot of scouting. They should scout Walker's moves.
All right, so 1 out. 1-2 count to Chisholm.
So Birdie picked off twice by the Mets in the last few days. Here's Chisholm at 1-2, and he takes a splitter level. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Walker set him up perfectly with the soft tosses, the medium tosses, and then he nailed him. Chisholm hits it sharply, and it's too hot to handle for Guillorme.
That's a base hit. So that was a big pickoff. That's a base hit for Chisholm. That was a hard hit. Guillorme almost got it, but missed it.
That does not happen very often. Chisholm has the second base hit.
didn't have a chance to get in front of it. The ball was hit too hard. That's a top spin on it as well. And Guillorme is very good at moving left to right. It always gets in front of balls when he can. That ball was hit just too hard.
All right, so Jorge Soler's coming up with 1 out. Chisholm on first.
1 out and 1 on. And now here's Jorge Soler. Soler, last year's World Series MVP, hitting just .218, but 13 home runs. That's a 3 on the left side against him. Walker misses long away, ball 1. Marlins in that 4-game series, in every game struck out in the double digits. Soler has 76 strikeouts on the year. That's in the top 10 of the league. Interesting that Scherzer, who is not the base stealer Birdie is, but is still a pretty prolific base stealer, is taking virtually no lead against Walker after watching his buddy get picked off. Walker behind 2-0 on Soler.
That was a decent pitch inside.
And your Chevrolet, local Chevrolet dealers, bringing you the Mets starting infield, Nino behind the plate. McCann is back on the active list. He'll probably start tomorrow. And out in the outfield, it's the same trio there. I think the best defensive trio the Mets put out there.
Nice pitch by Walker, 2-2.
So there, 2-2. Yeah, McCann will probably start Saturday and Sunday because the Marlins are featuring lefties in both those games. Trevor Rogers tomorrow, David Pistano on Sunday. Thrilled to have McCann back. His defense.
Ooh, just missed low.
Just out of the zone, 3-2 to Soler. Chisholm's got the speed, but you can't run him. All level, the crew chief has the plate. Shane Levensparger, Pat Holbrook, Bruce Streckman, for base on fire. City goes 3-2
pitch.
out. That quick kickoff move of Walker is a nice weapon for him, nice counter. Garrett Cooper, the cleanup hitter, DH is on deck. Chisholm's running, so there, bounces down. Getting run right there. It looked like actually full count. He was running. He looked back over his shoulder. You know, it's funny when you're trying to process stuff, right? As a manager, decide to send your runner on first base. That a guy that's struck out 76 times, he's still second. And it's not like he had a
Come on, Taiwan, let's go. 14 pitches so far for Taiwan Walker.
Put the ball in play. It would have been a strike him out. See if he runs again. Another very short lead for Chisholm. I think that's a little overly cautious. He's running again. Excellent. Rockets run on the left field for a base hit. Canna comes over to play on the hop. Chisholm goes to third. The throw comes
All right, so
into
first
second.
and third, 1 out.
So Soler.
It was a good pitch, but Soler turned on it. First and third, 1 out.
3 hits from the first 3 batters for Miami. First and third, 1 out. Now up and in here, that's fastball. That ball's not a bad pitch. But Soler, because he gets that back through, and Mattingly playing very, very aggressive early. That's up a first and third situation. So it's Taiwan Walker who allowed just 2 hits in 6 2/3.
Yeah, we'll see Max Scherzer sometime during the homestand. He probably rehab starts on Sunday, so he'll probably pitch against Houston.
One of the hottest hitters for the Marlins, Gary Cooper, is having himself a terrific year. And Cooper flares one over the back.
That's a big hit. 4 hits in a row for the Marlins. Cooper got jammed, but just got it over the second baseman's head. All right, not a good stuff for Taiwan Walker. Basically, haven't gotten out yet, except for one with the pickoff move. 4 straight hits.
Strong enough to end up in the Cooper was hitting 237 on May 20th, hitting over 400 since then.
Well, the reason why you can't take Escobar out of the lineup because would you rather have J.D. Davis at third base? McNeil is not playing right now. He's still hurt. He'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow. Escobar's probably not going to play tomorrow. McNeil will play, and then Guillermo will play. You're limited in infielders right now. You're not going to put J.D. Davis at third base, who was a butcher. Yep, Tony Saragusa passed away yesterday. Nice pitch. Again, Walker hasn't got hit hard. It was a chopper by Birdie. Chisholm with the hard hit ball. And 2 other soft hits. That was basically it.
Walker tried to settle in. Use a double play grinder from Aguilar. Throws a slider away 1-2. Taiwan's thrown his slider a lot more his last couple of starts. And I don't know whether it's tied to the higher strikeout totals, but they have been concurring. It feels like you needed another weapon. It's hard to be a 2-pitch pitcher in the major leagues as a starter. That's what he was.
Double play ball. There we go. All right. We only gave up 1 run there. Got the double play ball. So after 1, it is tied 1-1 going to the top of the second. Again, either way you put it when it comes to McNeil playing second or third or Guillermo playing second or third, the reason why Escobar is still in the lineup is because of the fact that McNeil is they're still giving him rest with that hamstring. And that's why Escobar's in the lineup. Again, would you rather have J.D. Davis at third base? I wouldn't. So that's the reason why at the moment. So Taiwan Walker gave up the quick lead that the Mets had, the 1-run lead, and the Marlins scored in the bottom of the first. Now it's basically a 0-0 game going to the top of the second. But at the least, the Mets, I think, are going to be in it and try to hit. I think they're going to hit Alcantara. We'll see. Well, Transistor, we need reinforcements. That's true. But again, you can't get these reinforcements right now. Like, yeah, you would want that big bat or another big arm, but you're not going to pay top dollar now or give more prospects than you're willing to give because it's too early by the trade deadline. You don't want to do that right now. So, it's not worth it. Like a guy like DR is a good option because he got DFA'd. I think he cleared waivers already, so the Mets can get him. That's an option. See if he can get lightning in the bottle. He does have power. But, the Mets really can't do anything except getting their guys healthy. That's basically the reinforcements they need. Scherzer is a reinforcement. We'll see him during the homestand. DeGrom is a reinforcement. But you can't get it now in trades because, honestly, nobody's really trading at the moment. And I know people talked about the Castillo rumors that the Mets are interested. Well, yeah, of course, a lot of teams are going to be interested, but they're not trading them right now. I don't think so. Unless the Mets way overpaid for the Mets, for Castillo. And I don't know if they're going to do that. All right, guys, so we're top of the second. The game is tied 1-1.
That will start Sunday in this series. Guillermo leads off for the second for New York and takes outside. Max always engaging his teammates. Notice Mr. Peterson sitting right to his left side. I like that. I'll listen to what that man has to say. As Peterson will get the start on Sunday. Fly ball foul by Guillermo. That'll make it into the seats. It's 1-1. Guillermo running a 6-game hitting streak right now, with 429 over the 6 games, and the second straight game hitting 5th in the order behind Alonso, with Jeff McNeil out of the lineup. McNeil is probably available for pinch hitting duty. Buck said he was not available on Wednesday in Houston.
Well, transition. I'm glad I can bring that to you.
And there was a situation where he could have used McNeil, but he's said he does not want to take a chance of losing McNeil for any length of time. And it's pretty apparent as bad as he does.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, but again, if McNeil is not healthy, you can't put Davis, even if it is temporary. Davis is not good at third base. And I'd rather have Escobar's defense at the moment than praying that Davis can actually, play third base. And the other part of it is that J.D. Davis is not hitting either. So, you're kind of not fixing the issue.
A chance to speak to one of the Mets today about just what it's like to face Sandy Alcantara.
Eat some chips. I'm a little hungry.
Difficult at bat. And you saw right there, first and foremost, obviously, it's the stuff, right? Peter Alonso talked about his stuff, but he said there are a lot of guys that have good stuff, but first and foremost, Sandy Alcantara is a pitcher who has that type of elite stuff. 3 elite pitches that he can throw anywhere he wants.
So Guillaume struck out?
He can throw for strikes, but he can also, as you saw in the case of the strikeout pitch, so Guillaume there, throw a ball that looks like a strike and then falls off the face of the earth and ultimately ends up as a ball. Guillaume had it, but because of that pinpoint control that he has, it's almost impossible to eliminate any pitch from the outset, which is rare. Usually, guys have at least one thing is cannot ground this one.
Well, what the Mets are not doing is working the count. They're swinging very early in the count. 22 pitches for Alcantara, 2 outs in the second.
And finally, Brandon Nimmo added that he makes so few mistakes that even when he does make mistakes, oftentimes you're not going to hit it. He talked about that in his last game last week against Alcantara, where he got a middle changeup, but because he had to sit 98 on that sinker, he was still out in front of the changeup and didn't hit the one mistake he got. Well, I think one of the things that Keith and I were mentioning that we find so interesting about Alcantara, he gets a bad call for the umpire, doesn't say a word. He gives up a home run, you don't see him overreact. No one throws as easy as he does at 99, and maybe we'll talk about Wheeler. He can do that as well. Just everything about him is a pro's pro. We talk all the time about Jacob DeGrom and his long levers.
Lane, they're on Amazon Prime tonight.
Different kind of great. Brandon Nimmo did make that comparison, by the way, too. So similar to Jacob DeGrom. And guys, in terms of the body language as well, it's very noticeable from right here. But Eric Chavez expressly mentioned that to me when talking about Alcantara, that the one thing that stood out in his last start is, like you said, if he doesn't get a call or if he makes that one bad pitch, nothing ever leads from one pitch into the next. Even one bad at bat into the next, they'll come back and they'll tear your throat out with that next at bat. 1-2 Eduardo Escobar. The slider both foul. You saw the top 5 ERA. Joe Musgrove finally lost the game. I saw that. Gave up some home run, but he had been out on the COVID list. I wonder if that affected him at all. The Phillies gave him 6 runs in 6 innings, his first loss. We'll change up off the plate to Escobar. It's 2-2. Escobar had a couple of hits in the series.
I didn't eat much at all today, so getting me eating a couple of bad foods.
Emotional about it after the game Wednesday.
And Escobar hit to the first to end the inning. All right. So the Mets didn't score in that inning. Going to the bottom of the second, 1-1 is the score. Now, I think it's idiotic to say that who is better, DeGrom or Alcantara? Alcantara is a really good player, but he hasn't proven much at all. Like, he would pitch well either 3 months early on or later in the season. He doesn't have it consistent all year. Because if he did do it consistent all year, he would be winning Cy Youngs. And he has not. Obviously, DeGrom healthy is the best pitcher in baseball, so it's not even close. But it's not like Alcantara is a bad pitcher. He's a really good pitcher who still has to figure out how to be consistent throughout the whole year, because he has his stretches where he'll have 2 or 3 good months and then 2 bad months, or not so good months that hurts his ERA and hurts his chances of winning the Cy Young. Nah, I don't care about what the Yankees do because they don't concern the Mets at all. They're not hurting the chances of the Mets do anything. If you worry about the Yankees more than you worry about the Braves, well, you're just not doing what you need to do as a fan. You got to worry about the teams in your division. What am I eating? I'm eating Ripple's barbecue chips. No, well, I get it. But it's not an idiotic talking point. It's no contest. If Jacob deGrom's healthy, he's a better pitcher than Alcantara. It's just that simple. Like, there's no debate. Remember when there was a debate a few years ago with Luis Severino and Jacob deGrom, who's better? Well, at that time, we didn't know how good Jacob deGrom was yet, or Severino. Well, deGrom shut that up over the last 2 years during that talking point because he won 2 Cy Youngs. All right, guys, so we're going to the bottom of the second, and 1-1 is the score. Walker has 20 pitches so far. Standy's incredible, but deGrom has done it longer, and deGrom has proven it throughout an entire year.
He signed a 4-year contract with the Marlins. Got off to a very rough start, but he's perking up lately, hitting 294 in June. Garcia, Jose Sanchez, and Jacob Stallings for Miami in the second. That's line to left field. Canada's right there waiting for him. Picks it up.
That was a hard hit ball, but right at Canada.
He was battling the lights for the trajectory of that ball, but it took him a while to steady and make the ground. If you're driving on the major brought to you by Hyundai, very good. So he's contracting again. Machado was nursing his ankle. Dodgers offense. None of that is the biggest story in baseball tonight. The biggest story is in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna respect him, though. But
Freddie Freeman broke down repeatedly during his pregame press conference, preparatory to his first game back in Atlanta, and broke down again when he was presented with his World Series ring before the game. An incredibly emotional moment for Freeman and the crowd in Atlanta, welcoming him back after all those years of stellar play. His presser was 13 minutes, and he had a back towel. That's how much he was crying. He knew exactly how it was affected. Well, he never wanted to leave Atlanta. He wanted them to offer him what he felt he was worth, and they never did. And they made the trade for Matt Olson, which told him it was time to leave, and he left, but not willingly. Fernando Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez at 223 for the year. Rookie last year, played 64 games. Pretty much secured his position as an everyday outfielder. And there's a 4-pitch walk. So Walker, who didn't walk the batter until the 7th inning in his last start, walked Sanchez with 1 out of the second.
Walker's struggling with his control a little bit. Yeah, that's a great job by Atlanta Braves fans because Braves fans were killing Freeman like he left them. Like the Braves didn't pay him what he deserves, and the Dodgers did. That's why he left. But it's good for the fans to give him an ovation because he deserves it.
Nobody knows more about statistics and stories in baseball formerly of the Alaska. Trouble by Stallings, picked up by Nito.
All right, so we got the second out at first. Runner moves the second. 2 outs.
Stallings 6'7" inches. He's retired 2-3. Did you want the engine blocks?
Yeah, Herman, we were talking about playoffs. And you played to win the game.
His responsibility to imagine going and the ball go. He stayed at home. It was 67 miles an hour, which I didn't think it was at that hard.
All right, so 27 pitches for Walker with 2 outs in the second.
Standings brought to you by Raymore and Flanagan. Thousands of items in stock and ready to deliver. Braves winning yesterday, taking the final game of their series with the Giants. The game within 4 games, matching the closest they've been since early May. That's led by as many as 10.5 at one point. Off the fists of Williams and foul balls. So the Braves are hosting the Dodgers, while the Phillies are out west playing the Padres, who they beat last night. I think it's Nola pitching against his brother, and Mackenzie Gore for the Padres. I assume that Aaron has faced Oscar before. I think it's interesting. The last start, everything came so easy for Taiwan Walker. He's so precise. It's missed with the fastball away and down to right-handers. So not everything in sync yet. But as a starting pitcher, you have confidence that you're going to get there, even if you don't start the game with all your weapons.
I think the coach's name was Green, I think.
That slider, and it was just, he was throwing it just off the plate, and the Marlins were chasing it. So he was able
Yeah, we're gonna get the Grom probably right before the All-Star break.
So is this the Marlins maybe concentrating on not chasing that slider as much? I don't think so, because it's been more of a non-competitive pitch. Chopper behind the bag, it's a fair ball. Escobar hesitates and loses the play, flopping back into the bag at third is Sanchez. With Williams with good speed and getting down the line.
Escobar didn't make the throw the first because you don't want to throw it away and make the run score with Luke Williams running. There was no chance he was going to get him at first.
I mean, is he afraid that if he throws that ball, maybe Sanchez tries to score? I don't know about that. He was concerned that he was not going to have a play at first base, so why take the chance?
Yeah, Freeman wanted it next year.
On this play. He had the grip.
I get it from the Braves' perspective, but I honestly still think it's going to hurt him leadership-wise throughout the year. I think it's going to hurt him badly. All right, so 32 pitches for Walker. First and third, 2 outs for the Marlins. All right, nice play by Walker. End the inning. Nice. That was not easy to hit the ball hard, but got it right in the glove. The glove fell off. The ball right in front of him, and he made the throw to first for the end inning. So we're going to the top of the third. Mets, Marlins tied at 1. Yes, it was Dennis Green. I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Green. But you know what? The Dodgers are going to face. I'm assuming the Braves are going to gotta face the Dodgers now. It's not going to be easy, even though they're at home. I still think the Mets. Look, the Mets control their own destiny. The Mets got to take care of business, and it doesn't matter what the Braves do, right? Every day the Mets knock a game off the schedule was one step closer of winning the division, and that's what they did in the month of June. You know, nobody could have predicted that the Braves are going to go on a 14-game winning streak. They're 18-4 in June, and if you take away the 14 games, they're 4-4. They're 500. So if they had a normal month like most teams, and they played 500 ball or a little bit better than 500 ball, the Mets would still be 7.5 games up. So you have to look at it in that way too, and that's why you get those big leads. And we talked about this yesterday on Mets Talk Live. When you get those, when that homestand, that 6-game homestand right before the West Coast trip, everybody was talking about it. We were 5.5 games up in the division. We went 6-0 on the homestand right before the West Coast trip. That gave us that big lead for a situation for the Braves if they got hot and the Mets struggled on the West Coast trip. The Mets went 500. The Braves went insane. You can't do nothing about that. Nobody could have predicted a 14-game winning streak. Like, that's far and few between. I can guarantee there's probably a pretty good chance the Braves are not going to have another 14-game winning streak. So, and if you look at how they were in the last 10 games, the Mets are 7 and the Marlins is the Braves are 7-3 and the Mets are 6-4, a 1-game difference. So that's basically it. So here we go, guys. Top of the third, Dominic Smith up 1-1 the score.
1 game. Walker Stone certainly has not found the pinnacle of his game in the first 2 innings, but he's been able to limit the damage to just 1 run.
And Dominic Smith hit a home run.
Making his second start since returning from the minor leagues. He's got 2 for 5 since his recall. His 8th game as a DH this year. Leader on deck. Brandon Nimmo for the bench for the third against Alcantara. I saw today, this came across the wire. The Cubs designated for assignment Jonathan Villar. That's whether there was an internal decision not to bring him back, or the Cubs just made him a better offer in the offseason, but he played wonderfully for the Mets last year. He did. Because of injuries, I did play a lot for the Cubs to start the year, but the last couple of weeks I've been watching him. He's been playing really well. So let me know what he's capable of. Yeah, Joe Walter knows what he's capable of.
That's another thing. Buck Showalter coached him, managed him in Baltimore. So it might be a relationship waiting to happen again with VR. We'll see. Dominic Smith with a slow ground ball to first. What else is there? This guy's so frustrating.
I just haven't seen him in the outfield enough. If he was a guy like Birdie who could play the outfield as well, I don't see PR.
Tyler probably will. Well, it depends. Now, are the Mets going to make a trade just for Luis Castillo? We were talking about this yesterday on Mets Talk Live. If you didn't tune in, we were talking about. I'll talk about this when the inning's over, so you can hear it again.
Needham gets the start tonight. His 41st start of the year by far most of any of the Mets catchers. Patrick Mazeika was sent down today to make room for James McCann, who's back on the active roster. McCann was 30 games with the broken hamate bone. It'll be interesting to see how the playing time gets distributed going forward now. Neither has really had his moments offensively. Has done a very nice job defensively, but to look at the catcher's ERA, and I don't know how much stock you put out of it. Certainly, the Mets cut pitch better with McCann than they have with
Ground ball to first for Dominic Smith.
McCann was catching Scherzer and some of the better pitchers. That's part of it. Last line about Alcantara, 1-2 Vila. Chris James.
Nito struck out on that nasty slider.
Second strikeout for Alcantara, who's now retired 6-0. All arms and legs.
Well, I don't take any stock in 2020 with any player. So the people who went crazy about Dominic Smith being great in 2020, it was 60 games. He played 102 games less than normal. Anybody can have a great 60-game season. A great 60 games. That's just that simple.
Fly to center his first time up. It's really just showing how you never know when you trade a prospect what's going to happen, right? With the Cardinals had Alcantara.
Well, Christian, I'm going to combat that comment. Yeah, they are looking to it, but exactly what you talked about with Moustakas. That's what I was talking. I'm going to talk about after the inning. And Nimmo right to third base, and it is going to end the inning. All right, guys, so going to the bottom of the third, still 1-1. So when it comes to the Luis Castillo rumors and stuff like that, what Christian just talked about is that, and what Cohen talked about, he's willing to take a bad contract to not give up so many prospects. If you take on a bad contract and you take on the money of a bad contract, the cost to get Luis Castillo will be a lot less prospect-wise than it would if you just want Luis Castillo. That's why Moustakas is not a bad option taking on a bad contract, because it's only money at that point. You could put Moustakas, if Escobar's not doing well, you can play him at third, or, you can switch off back and forth. Moustakas is a decent bat off the bench as well. if you take that money on, it's not hurting the Mets anyway because Cohen doesn't care about the money. What it would do is instead of getting your top 15, you probably need the top 12, three top 12 prospects to get maybe two top 10 prospects and a top 20 prospect to get Luis Castillo without taking on a bad contract. It might take Mauricio, Vientos, and name another prospect from 15 to 20. Those three guys without that bad contract. Take on Moustakas, it might only take Mauricio and a later 15 to 20 type prospect. So that's exactly what they could do as well. And you can look at other teams as well. If you want to get Josh Bell for a DH spot, look what else you could take on in the bad contract that might help as well. There's many ways they can do it. When it comes to many other guys that you can look at. You look at Oakland with Frankie Montas. Can you take on a bad contract? Even though Oakland doesn't really have a lot of bad contracts, but can you look at somebody that they want to shed payroll? Take on them so you don't have to give up three top prospects. You only have to give up maybe two. So that's exactly what I think the Mets are going to do. I think they're going to take on a bad contract to save a couple of prospects. And what that also can do is use those prospects you save in that type of deal, taking on a bad contract to get something else. So I think that's what the Mets are going to do. Here we go, guys. Bottom of the third, still 1-1, Walker on the mound.
Then that one start in Anaheim, really fascinating to listen to the constant cat and mouse that took place on that road trip where he made three starts. It started in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. A few days into his start, Jeff McNeil told him that he was tipping his pitches on his splitter specifically, so he made a change, and it was an issue. It was not an issue the rest of the game. But San Diego was able to pick up something else that was tipping after Walker made that initial change. So the change fixed one thing, led to a different tip, and that's why he struggled the first couple innings against San Diego. Jeremy Hefner, in the middle of that start, picked up the new tip. Walker corrected that tip, but lo and behold, led to another tip against Anaheim, and eventually he fixed that last tip, and they're pretty confident that he's got everything under control now. But it's a constant cat and mouse, like I said, not just in mid-start, but from start to start with all the advanced scouting that goes on.
So if you're at home and you're trying to understand how a major league pitcher would tip, it's very subtle because
he's on the bench. He's not pitching Sundays for the Mets. He's probably going to pitch for Port St. Lucie, one more rehab start. You don't want Scherzer to come in the game and just pitch 4 innings. That really does not help us enough. You can get any pitcher to pitch 4 innings.
Maybe when there's no one on base, you will occasionally, in your glove, flare your finger out of the glove. It moves just subtle on your breaking pitch. They pick that up in a heartbeat. It's things like that can happen. Now, we never talked about it extensively like these guys. What would happen if they got your pitches, you would give them the tell that you would bring that pitch again, and then you would throw a 4-seamer under the chin, and that would stop it forever. Because they would feel as though we got it wrong now. If we get it wrong once, and there's a ball under your chin, that stops all the nonsense.
Ron, you say that you didn't necessarily put as much into it or talk about it as much as these guys do. Another point that was pointed out to me is that, especially now with the crackdown on sign stealing, teams don't have that ability anymore. So picking up tips is really the only thing that teams have to go after. So the advanced scouting really focuses on what pitchers might be doing.
Yeah, no, I think it is our problem not to talk about it more, Steve. I admire that they are so thorough. I mean, Rusty Staub had a lot of pitches, but he was an individual. Not many other guys had it.
All right, so the full count there, Chisholm.
He would not share again until that last year when we were getting close in '85. Then he started sharing in the second half. 3-2 coming to Chisholm.
Nice pitch.
Swinging. Splitter by Walker for his first strikeout night.
Nobody said no. Will, you got the wrong information. Nobody said about him uncertainty with returning. Nobody said that. They talked about him being on course to come back a few weeks earlier than expected. They're expecting him to come back before the All-Star break. There's no uncertainty. They expect him to come back. That's not uncertainty. Ground ball looks like a quick 2 outs. And it is. Yeah, well, Angel, I think the problem with Josh Chisholm this year is that he developed more of an uppercut swing, which is going to cause more strikeouts, and his average to go down. Hey, Michael, what's up? Oh, definitely, Angel. Vientos is ready to go. It's just, I think the Mets are getting Dominic Smith one more chance. If not, I think Vientos is going to be the next man to get the chance to be a DH. And if that doesn't work out, the Mets are probably going to make a move right before the All-Star break or a little bit after the All-Star break.
Step or two in center field. And Cooper gets jammed and he went around on a half swing and it's 1-1. So that looked like much of a swing. He said, "Come on, man." So Linus Barker got the call for first base. Cooper's base hit to center field gave him a 9-game hitting streak. That was this one off the right side of the slider at 22. Lions have been hanging around. They're 4 games under 500 after sweeping the Rockies. And if you're 4 games under 500 in late June, the system works down, then you got a chance. Yeah. And automatically, even in booked that yesterday after they beat the Rockies and said, hey, for today's Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think they need Vientos to trade for Bell. You know, Bell's a good player, but he's not a guy to give a top prospect to. You know, you can give Dominic Smith, and you can give, he'll play first base, which will be replacing Bell, and maybe a lower level prospect that the Nationals want because they're in rebuild mode. It's not that we need a power bat to have walk-off wins. It's just that when you have, when you need a 3-run home run, you can get it, not just from Alonso. And it looks like right to Lindor should be the end of the inning, and it is. All right, there we go. So Taiwan Walker is finding his groove a little bit. 1-2-3 inning, going to the top of the foot, still 1-1. Yeah, like I said, if Scherzer comes back and he's healthy, you got your ace. Even if DeGrom don't come back, you got your ace. You still got Bassett, who is definitely a solid number 2, if not a really, really good to great solid number 2. And you have Walker and Carrasco, and then you can figure out your 5th starter. The Mets don't need a top-of-the-line starter. I think people are focused on that for what reason? If you're going to use a top prospect or 2 to get a number 1 or a number 2 starter like Castillo or Montas, it doesn't make sense to me. That was the reason why you got Bassett as well, for insurance purposes if DeGrom don't come back. You cannot give up a top prospect or 2 for a top-of-the-line starting pitcher when you have other problems on your team, such as trying to get a better DH bat or 1 or 2 big bullpen arms. That's what they have to do. Like I said, Tyler Mahle, I'm not a big fan of, but again, if DeGrom doesn't come back and Scherzer does, your rotation's kind of set for the most part. But again, you can is Tyler Mahle better than David Peterson? They're basically the same. Tyler Mahle has more experience, but other than that, are you going to give, even if it's a lower level prospect, are you going to give a lower level prospect for Mahle, who has like a 4.5 ERA? I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Bell is going to play the role of Dominic Smith. He's going to DH a lot and occasionally play first base. But then again, Bell is not a great first baseman. He's not Dominic Smith defensively. So he's not going to play a lot of first base. You're getting Bell predominantly to hit his 300 and hit home runs as well. That's what you're going to do. All right, guys, so going to the top of the 4th. Mets Marlins tied at 1. Yeah, but you don't need top of the line starting pitching for an injury. You don't. especially if Scherzer comes back, it's not worth giving up top prospects like that. Ground ball to short. A lot of ground balls in this game. One out. That was quick. Again, the problem that the Mets, I don't like what the Mets are doing right now. They're swinging way too early in the count. They're not working the count at all.
So nice note today. Bassett pitched open. It's just Luzardo, who's hurt right now for the Marlins. Pitched, with Bassett. Yeah. Luzardo today with the Mets in town. For a case of Mountain Dew in a cooler, put next to Bassett's locker. Just a hi, how are you? Nice to see you gesture. Because Lindor homered his first time up.
Lindor drives one, foul ball. Way too quick. That would have been a home run if he straightened it out.
Well, it's a long strike, and I don't think that Alcantara is going to try to come back in there again. That was his 12th of the year. 9 of the 12 have come as a left-hand batter. And he did. Took all those sliders that just missed and then got a 3-2 sinker that was up in the strike zone. Just a terrific at bat by Lindor. Home run number 12. Change of balance.
Lindor sees Alcantara very well. You just tell how he's working the count. Michael, I don't agree with that. We do have enough. You gotta remember, Bassett was the insurance for Jacob deGrom. That's why we got him. Scherzer and Bassett is more than enough to win a championship. I mean, look at the starters for the past championships. They weren't great. You got Scherzer, who's a beast. Bassett is a solid number 2. And you definitely could trust Carrasco as your number 3 in the playoff spot. Lindor pops it up. He's running. I don't think anybody's going to get it. And Birdie makes the nice catch. Nobody was calling it.
Doctor was thinking, cavalry's not coming. I might need to see it
2
myself.
outs.
You got to catch that one through the pitcher. I'm thinking the catcher's going to call it off. It's got to be an LOIC birdie, but that's why he's late. But he called it off. Well done. Had it all the way. It was credit to Lindor with running hard. He was almost at second base without going to spot.
Yeah, but how many teams have 3 aces? You don't need 3 aces. You guys got to get off that. You need an ace and a solid number 2, and the Mets have that with Scherzer and Bassett. You can win a World Series with that. I mean, it's that simple. Carrasco's been good this year, guys. I think people forget that. Hey, Joey, how you doing, buddy? But generally, if you're not seeing a lot of strikes, it's because they respect you. And, for Pete in past years, that's been swinging a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. This year is a lot less of that. He just gets better and better with experience. I don't report lots of ideas. Well, the Mets, you don't need 3 great. You got a great in Scherzer. You got a very good in Bassett. Bassett was better than Montas last year, so he's basically an ace. So you already have 2 aces. And Carrasco's a solid number 3. And Walker's your number 4 starter who's pitching like a number 3. All right, so Alcantara struck out Pete Alonso, going to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-1. I do think DeGrom, and I said this in Mets Talk Live yesterday, guys. I do think, Inebriated, what's up, buddy? I do think Jacob deGrom is going to come back healthy. The reason why I say that, and I'm a little bit more confident, is because the Mets finally diagnosed the proper injury. Got to remember, last year, there was no diagnosis. They didn't know what was wrong with him. They were just giving him days off. They were rehabbing an injury that they didn't know what the injury was. So you can't rehab an injury properly if you don't know what the injury is. The Mets diagnosed the injury in spring training. It was a stress fracture of the scapula. Once they knew what the injury was, they put the plan in action together for the rehab. That's why I think it's a lot different than last year, because they did not know the injury. They never gave an exact injury for what it was. And that's why I think it's a lot better. You can be confident that Jacob DeGrom is going to come back. Now, again, can another injury pop up? Of course. But with that specific injury, and I think that was what was causing him the pain, they figured it out. And that's why I think they got the diagnosis. When they figured out what the injury was, they had a plan set for that specific injury. For a bone injury, the only thing you can do is rest. That's how it heals. A bone heals with rest. I know because I had neck surgery 3 years ago. I had to get a cervical laminectomy. That's basically shaving off parts of your vertebrae so you can relieve this pressure off the spine. I had that. The only way your bones heal is if you let it heal and rest. That's what I had to do. And a lot of rehab afterwards. Strengthening of that area. That's basically what DeGrom is doing. That's why it's taking longer, because it's a bone injury. And it's kind of easy to rehab a bone injury because all you have to do is rest it. Once the stress fracture has healed in the bone, then they can work on arm strength. Top of the bottom of the fourth, guys, 1-1. Well, yeah, of course Atlanta can, but the Mets still haven't had a 3-game loser streak. It's very hard to catch a team that doesn't lose 3 in a row. Again, the Mets played a little over 500 ball in June, which is not bad considering the teams they faced. The Braves are 18-4. They're not going to have another month like that. They're not. Cookie is coming back, though. He's not missing a start. Yeah, I don't think Jake's going to have a problem either. I think they finally figured out the injury, and they're rehabbing it properly. So that's a shot to right field. Can Marte get it? He does. Nice catch.
2 balls, he's on the nose, 3 outs.
And I think we forget that we're still the best team in the National League without Jacob DeGrom the entire year. Without Max Scherzer for a month and a half. Without McGill for basically 2 months. So, again, this would be a nice quick inning for Walker. If you can get that done, that'd be great. Nope. Michael, he's fine.
See it lined out to left this first time. So there's nothing at all.
Thank you. No, Sandy's basically operations. Basically, he's basically paying the bills of the team. Making sure the administration, the back offices are doing what he needs to do. Management. All right, it should be a quick 2 outs here, and it is. I agree, Michael. Yeah, exactly, Joey. That's why this game I think is important. Again, it's not the end-all be-all. They're not going to lose the division because they lost 3 in a row. But what it does, it puts pressure on the Mets to win the next 2 to win the series. Again, they're not playing bad right now. They're just getting – Alcantara's pitching great right now, but Walker's pitching just as good. So, all you got to what the Mets I think have to do a little better of is working the count to get him out of the game a little quicker. Yeah, they're gonna hire a president of baseball. They still want that guy from Milwaukee. I forgot his name, but they're trying to get him so bad to be the president of baseball. David Stearns, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the guy they want, and they're probably going to get him soon. So 57 pitches in the fourth with 2 outs for Walker. That's a pretty good pitch count. Look, he's staying with Alcantara right now. So Walker's pitching good. Got a 3-0 count to Sanchez right now. Yeah, we had the toughest month of June with the teams we faced, and we're still 2 games over 500. So, with 5 games left, if the Mets go 2-3 or 3-2, well, guess what? We had a good June. All right, so Taijuan Walker walked Sanchez again, and now it's still 2 outs with a man on first with 60 pitches. Walker's a little bit pissed off at himself. Yeah, they blocked him now, but I think he has in the last year of his contract, I think he can opt out of it. I think that's what they were talking about before the season.
But the other day, one of the Mets was taking all their stuff off, and they almost scored before they received the first. They would have James Stallings went 7 inches his first time up and was thrown out by Tito. You had to remind him. Unless the pitch count.
Yeah, he wants to become, a local guy. He wants to come to the Mets.
Instead of thinking the signal, the second cousin, the third cousin, all the children, I would call and say, get your cousin, but 6 inches. My cousin Larry.
All right, should end the inning here? And it does. All right, nice pitching by Walker to get out of the inning. Going to the top of the 5th, 1-1 is still the score. Yeah, I think with what's his name? Stearns is a guy. Yeah, exactly. That's why he was with Cashman, Stearns, along with Epler. They were all part of the same front office. So again, Stearns, as you see what he done with Milwaukee, again, you can't play on the field, but he's tried to put Milwaukee together. And let's be honest, they've been a consistent playoff team. They haven't done it. They choked in the playoffs, but that's not on him. He's got the players. Everybody wanted Lorenzo Cain for the Mets a couple of years ago when Milwaukee signed him. He made a lot of good moves. He made that big trade for Yelich. That was a huge move. You can't control the fact that Yelich has a bad back. But, they made those trades because they don't spend a lot of money. They had, they get a lot of guys that they develop. The one big signing they made was Lorenzo Cain, and that really didn't pan out for him, as you can see. So, at the very least, Stearns tried to do everything he can, but it's hard when your owner doesn't want to spend more money. But I guarantee you, they could have used a guy like Marte. They could have used a guy like Canna. They could have used Bassett for that matter. Even though that was a trade, but Bassett's not making a little bit of money. He's making a decent amount. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of guys on the Brewers that are making Bassett type money, which is like 11, 12 million. So that's what it is right now. And Tyler, that's a good point. The Mets only lost 2 series this month. And what have they played? 6 series so far? I think 7 in total they're going to be playing. That's pretty good. Again, the Mets are 11-9 in June, with one of the toughest months in all of baseball with the teams they faced. So, they can end it on a really good note, or they can end it on a decent note. Again, you end up 500 in the month of June when the teams that you face were really damn good. You take that as a win. You just can't help that. Can anybody would have guessed that the Braves went 18-4 and they could go 21-4, 23-4? Nobody would predict that, and they're not going to do that. Have a month like that again. It's just nearly impossible. So here we go, guys. Top of the 5th. Luis Guillorme is up. 1-1 is the score.
Guillorme struck out his first time up. Canada and one of the rest of the follow against Alcantara, who's given up just 1 base runner in the first 4 innings.
What Epler figured out what he didn't. He learned from what he did with the Angels. He never tried to trade or sign pitchers to make the rotation better. He changed that with Scherzer and Bassett. What he didn't do a good job of was getting at least another better bullpen arm. He got a couple of guys in, but they're not great. Ottavino, Shreve made that trade for Rodriguez, who's been good. But I think he's going to address that at the trade deadline. 56 pitches for Alcantara. And Guillaume strikes out. That looked a little high, but too close to take.
Interesting conversation, Gary, and Buck's office today about umpires, which we will keep to ourselves, but I thought it very interesting. Why would you go down that path? Just because. I mean, that's a real Chiefs. I find it interesting, and we all know this. You folks know. They got umpires. They know what their tendencies are. They're a high ball umpire. We can have that when we play. Yeah, but you do.
Well, Michael, it's not that the Angels owner was bad. He spent a ton of money. It's just, and that's on Epler as well. He gave contracts to Pujols, to Rendon that are not great contracts at all. But he never got the pitching that he needed to supply that offense. Yeah, I think Ronnie has too much going on with like TBS and that podcast he's doing now with Jimmy Rollins.
Always very methodical. The wheels are always turning. Sure, this is a very athletic too. Comes in here with one contract, can't wait to throw it. Gets it, doesn't walk around now, just stays right on the top of the rubber, gets a sign, proceeds. The problem with the pitch go out. And on the other hand, he might have a problem with the pitch go out.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about Ohtani until after the year's over. Right now, got to make the team better right now, but I get your point. Oh, yeah. Connor just hit a shot. That's gone. Yeah, home run. Marcano with the home run. Yeah, here we go. That was a shot. Woo. Who needs home run hitters? We got them here. Listen to the crowd. Oh, yeah. Citi Field South. That was a shot. He turned on that fastball. Oh, yeah. On a 2-2 count. Kind of gives the lead in the fifth. 2-1 Mets. And Escobar hits it in the shift. And 2 outs. He turned on that fastball. That was a good pitch. He was ready for that pitch. All right, JD, there you go. Well, yeah, and Mark Hanna, again, he's a 15 to 17 home run guy. So, can he be a little bit better? He's a different hitter than he was in Oakland. He's a 240 hitter, 250 hitter at the best. What he's doing here is just unimaginable. Nobody could predict that. Batting 300, hitting for decent power. And Dominic Smith hits a fly ball to left field to end the inning. But before the end of the inning, Mark Canha turns on a fastball inside to give the Mets a 2-1 lead. 2 runs scored, 2 home runs, 1 by Lindor, 1 by Mark Canha to give the Mets the lead. Again, This is how you're probably going to beat one of the better pitchers in baseball. That's what you got to do. That's why the home runs are important at times because you're not going to string 4 or 5 hits together against Alcantara. You're not. So you got to hit the home runs. And, well, it's showing right here what home runs can do when you can't bunch hits together with a great pitcher like Alcantara. So there we are, guys. Going to the bottom of the 5th. Mets lead 2-1. Walker has been pitching good, pitching a tad bit better than Alcantara, which probably nobody predicted. Yeah, Angel, but you know what? I don't think Ohtani's a good of a pitcher that everybody gives him credit for. He's good, but he's not dominant. Like, he'll have a game with 13 strikeouts and then give up 6 runs the next game. So, I don't like him as a pitcher much. I'd rather just have his bat, to be honest with you. So, but again, with Ohtani, of course you would want Ohtani. But again, I think he likes the West Coast. There's a lot less pressure as an Angel than there would be as a Met. I mean, just remember, he could have went to the Yankees. He didn't want to go there. So, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to leave the Angels. But then again, you never know. Joe, I mean, yeah, the way Judge is playing now, anybody would want Judge. So, yeah, now. But I don't think, you can't expect Judge to have a season like he's having this year when you sign him. I don't think he's going to have another great year like he is probably going to have this year, with probably close to 60 home runs and over 100 RBIs, batting 290. I'm not expecting that every year from him. So, again, would you want him? Yeah. But what I think the Mets are going to probably, throw a contract offer, but I don't think they're going to go above and beyond to try to sign Judge. They got other issues they got to worry about. So we're going to the bottom of the 5th, 2-1 Mets.
This is the number 9 hitter, Luke Williams, being off the home 5th. Williams had infield hit his first time up.
The time Soto's a free agent, Scherzer's going to be off this team. His contract's going to end. And, the Mets have a lot of other things they got to worry about. They got Walker, Carrasco, Bassett. They're all free agents. DeGrom, who's opting out. Nimmo, free agent. There's a lot of guys the Mets have to worry about on their own team before they worry about other teams or other players. Yeah. And a nice pitch by Walker. Struck him out. 1 out.
Second strikeout of life for Tom Walker. He struck out 9 in his last start against Mets. Quick work of Williams there. He chases the splitter.
Yeah, Angel, it might help him with like 1 or 2 home runs, but when Judge hits it, he hits it. So, if he's not going to get 60 home runs, and Yankees, while he's the Yankee, he'll probably hit 57. So. Mark Hanna even hit the home run in the 5th. Ken, I don't know about Jankowski. I haven't heard much news about him yet. And Birdie gets a base hit the right field. Yeah, again, I think Jankowski's probably still a few weeks away. And we really haven't heard much. Like, I was trying to find, a little bit of information about him before the stream, but I didn't find nothing. Except that he's still resting. So, yeah, I think Judge is a better fielder than Soto. I think Soto is a little bit too aggressive when he fields. He's got a really good arm, but he's a solid hitter. I just think that with the Washington Nationals being so bad, I think he just lost all motivation to play well. Like, I think that's a big problem with him. He thrives off of being a good team, I think. Right through the shift. Ah, damn it.
Trying to throw out Birdie going first to third, and Escobar, who had no chance, it didn't look like to tag him out. Did not get rid of the ball, but trying to get the back line. You can see the runner. I thought this was a errant judgment on Chisholm's part in granting because Fonte's throw is in line for the cutoff man. It could be cut off. Yeah, I guess Escobar was more worried about the runner. And he had a chance to throw out Chisholm at second base. So now, second and third and one out. So where the batter, that's a the infield back with the exception of Alonso first.
And I do have to say that there was a shift on for Chisholm. Guillermo was playing a little bit more towards first base. So if he was playing regular double play with that would have been a double play ball. Well, I think Judge is going to outprice the Yankees if he continues this way. All right, so the Marlins tie it, 2 outs, the runner goes to third.
Primarily, I believe the right call led up because runners on second and third with Alcantara pitching, and even if it is an Alcantara, you bring the infield down, a ball gets through the ground, you leave yourself more exposed, 2-run score, and you find yourself behind. I think the speed of Birdie's going to play a part. I don't know, but the speed period, and then the Mets have one ball game with the top of the order speed. So for the second straight time,
it's all right.
You know what?
The Marlins are scrappy. But I also thought it was the shift that hurt that ball with Chisholm. Guillermo was playing more towards first base. He's playing normal second base without the shift. That's a double play ball. So that's a ground ball for Taijuan Walker. It just happens to be a basic because where the fielders are playing.
First time up with it, short ground ball in the middle of the second time. Now Walker ahead of the count 0-2. With the tips of fastball up the 2. It's a much deeper ball.
No, yeah, I don't think it's entertainment purposes for Judge and the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees are going to go $300 million, and I think another team will. The Giants, I think, are going to go heavy after them. The Angels are going to go heavy after them. And I think the Mets are going to give an offer, but I don't think it's going to be the best offer. All right, struck him out. All right, going to the top of the 6th, the Marlins tied the game. I don't think you can blame Walker in this spot. I think you got to blame freaking analytics and the shift. Because, again, the ball that Chisholm hit is right to the second baseman if he's playing normal depth. He was playing a little bit shaded to first base. That caused him not being able to get the ball. That's a ground ball to second base. That would have ended the inning. Unfortunately, the shift cost us that run right there. Yet again. So Marlins tied a game. We're going to the top of the 6th. A tie game once again. Yeah, Judge went to Fresno State. He lived in California, so he's a guy that might want to go home. And listen, I honestly think if the Giants and the Yankees offer him nearly the same thing, now you got to remember, California taxes is a little bit higher, but it's very similar to New York. They're not losing that much more money. So, if Judge has the opportunity to go home and the Giants give him a similar contract to the Yankees, he's going to San Francisco. I think that's just almost a guarantee. Would you rather go home making the same amount of money or stay in New York? Put it this way. I think it depends on what the Yankees do this year. If they make it to the World Series, he might be able to he might think about staying. If they win it, maybe it leans towards him staying the Yankees. If the Yankees fold in the playoffs like they have in years past, he's probably like, the hell with this. I'm not taking all the blame, and he might just leave. Well, Terry, the only reason why people are talking about Ohtani is because, according to multiple reports, Eppler was a big reason why Ohtani went to the Angels. But let's be honest, the reason why Ohtani went to the Angels was because there was the only team that said he can pitch and hit both. The Yankees only wanted him to either hit or pitch, and the Dodgers only wanted him to do one or the other. So, at the end of when it comes down to it, if Judge gets a similar offer from the Giants or another West Coast team, he'll probably go. So here we go, guys. Top of the 6, 2-2 is the score. Nino's up.
So a 10 for a tap in this game so far.
Yes, Chisholm left the game. It looked like a hip issue.
So it was Eppler in the second. That's the deal at third, but now they want us to be able to play second. And when he's back to third, we'll be shift. So I know they're just switching positions. I think it was anything to do with a shift. Oh, it's a shame you have it at his practice. So let him go right there. I don't know about that. Maybe not, but it's maybe a screen.
And Nito up the middle and can't make the play. Base hit. All right, here we go. There we go. Top of the order, Nimmo's coming up.
Facing the top of the lineup. That's second base. It's a silly question. That's the deal. Getting time to third base. I think he does. Travis started had to switch back and forth between second and third like 22 times in a game. So that's the deal. He's the second baseman.
All right, this is the time to get to Alcantara. He's not as dominant from the stretch than he is from the windup.
Confuse their minutes and their extra deals. 21 for 2 there.
Nimmo drops down a bunt and he bobbles it, and Nimmo gets to first base. I don't know if they're going to consider that a hit or an error. If it was going to be a tough play, they might give Nimmo the hit. So first and second, nobody out. Should be a base hit because it was going to be a tough play, even if he got the ball. They're going to score it a hit. So 2 hits in the 6th inning. First and second, nobody out with Francisco Lindor coming up, who's had the best at-bats against Alcantara. Let's see if he can do some damage. Excuse me, Saulo Marte. Excuse me. Let's go. Come on, Starling.
Alcantara is a guy who is vulnerable to the steal. Of course, even in second, we're not stealing any bases. That's good strike. Well, that's on the infield for the Marlins. What has to do with second base? There's really that's compromised on that right side. Not a lot of range from Aguilar at first. He's sure handled it, but he doesn't cover a lot of ground. Double play ball, Astudillo takes the tag.
Oh, what a play.
Astudillo then asked Aguilar to throw the ball back because he wasn't sure if he tagged out Nimmo, who had stopped. And they tag him a second time. I'm not sure if he got it the first time or not. Astudillo going for the tag. I didn't tag him with the that's why he had the ball in his bare hand when he tagged him with the glove. Nimmo Birdie, who then put the tag, who gave it to Astudillo, who then put the tag on. The umpire, second base umpire, called the save. He knew Astudillo, and I stand corrected. Now the question is,
I don't think Marte is out though.
why the Mets would challenge the play at first? Bill had no way of knowing. He figured he was out, but did the base umpire call him out, or did he call him safe? I thought he called him safe, Gary. Let's watch here. There you go. One base umpire got him over. Watch his arms. I think they went up straight. Let's see if there was another one where you could see a replay where he put his hands out straight. Out play first.
Marte's safe at first.
So really, Buck is going to challenge that call. And the question is, for the umpires, in any way to see him?
It's probably not going to be a double play. They're going to challenge the out call at first.
Clearly has to be tagged over the play at the ball in the bare hand, so they should not have been out on the initial tag. Then it looked as though Marte was safe at first, but I'm sure that they challenged. The other question is, what do you do about the other piece? It was right on the ground. It appears that Marte beat it, although they called it out.
Marte is safe. So we'll see what's going on. You can't challenge two calls. You got to challenge one. What I think Buck Showalter is doing is saying Nimmo shouldn't be out because there was no call. Oh, they're challenging both of them. Okay. So we could have bases loaded here with nobody out.
Challenging that the umpire deceived Nimmo in some fashion into thinking that he was out. So that's the way that's how it goes. That's tough. It's not too bad. Well, it's like an umpire on a ball that falls in, doesn't call it a hit.
So are they saying if now Altuve didn't tag Nimmo with the ball in the glove? But the problem is Nimmo never made the second base, so I don't see how they can call him safe. So are they saying that the umpire deceived the runner by not making a call? We'll see. So it's a little confusing here.
The question is, if you're on the runner and the umpire says you're out, but you're not out, should you be entitled then to call them out?
So the umpire called Nimmo out. So that means that the umpire was wrong. So I guess that's deceiving the runner. That's why Nimmo didn't run the second. So it might be bases loaded with nobody out.
I just don't think Nimmo gets the second base. I mean, they got this judgment.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Wow. Wow. What a freaking challenge. Wow. I'm sorry. I don't think Nimmo should have got the base because he never ran to second base. He never touched second. So they're saying that the second baseman or the second base umpire deceived Nimmo. That's why he didn't run the second base, because it was the wrong call by the ump. I guess that's what they mean. Oh, well. So the Mets would have had 2 outs with a man on third. Now we have bases loaded with nobody out. Wow. I don't agree with that Nimmo call, but I love it. Once again, guys, we got 98 people in the stream right now. Hit on that like button. The Mets are ready to do some damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. We just got 2 calls overturned and 1 challenge.
I don't think Nimmo can get up, even if he calls it safe and get to second base. But I don't think it's a judgment call. I disagree with that because the first baseman waited a long time before throwing the ball. He looked to run it back to third, right? So maybe that's.
So bases loaded, nobody out, guys. Lindor coming up. Let's go. Let's put this game away.
That's a really good question. Del Stottlemyre Jr. is going to go out to talk to Alcantara, who has been a little shaken by all this.
I mean, they're only showing 4 hits up on the board.
They put an arrow on the board for Miami. So there was an arrow somewhere. They're going to go like these 4. I don't think he called for not tagging the runner with his glove, with the ball in his glove. If you call that an error, maybe call that the right out. That should be an out, right? The reason it wasn't an out is he did not have the ball in his glove, tagging with his glove, and had the ball in his bare hand. That's an omission. That's an error. To me, this is an error. You got to make this play. Because if he makes this out here, the worst that's happened is even if Marte saved it first, Alcantara will have that pitcher has a chance out of the game. Runner first and third again. Here instead, you have bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, he blew the call in it. You know what? He screwed up the Marlins here. All right, so bases loaded, nobody out, Lindor up. The reason why it's an error is because the defensive player, the second baseman did not make the defensive play that it should have been an easy out. It turned into no outs, and it messed up the whole entire play. That's an error. Come on, Frankie, base it. I don't think I ever seen a call get overturned, 2 calls get overturned in 1 challenge. I didn't even know you were allowed to challenge or make 2 reasons for 1 challenge. I didn't know that. Well, the Mets got screwed because they didn't get the extra base. So that's a good call, Eric. All right, Frankie, let's go.
And we talked a lot about how Alcantara has been unflappable. You're never going to get flapped.
Most RBIs in the NL: 66 for Orlando, 53 for Lindor, 3rd most in the National League. Come on, Frankie. All right, ball 3. Again, Alcantara struggles in the stretch. But because he's so good and doesn't have a lot of base runners, he always pitches from the windup. All right, 3-1. You're going to look for a good pitch here. You got to look in your zone. Do not give him anything. He just hit a grand slam. Oh, that's off the wall. That's at least 2 runs. Nimmo coming, Marte coming, and he's safe. 3-run score. Yeah. Marte was right behind Nimmo. 5-2 Mets. Let's go. A 4 RBI day for Francisco Lindor. Now he's 2nd in the NL. Let's go. Marte was right next to Nimmo running the bases rounding 3rd. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? A slider, tried the backdoor slider and just flattened out.
Hits the bottom of the wall. It was a good relay by Garcia. Nimmo had to wait, go halfway, but Marte was gunning it.
He's tagging out. The umpire almost gets in the way. Marte's done the right thing.
All right. Come on, Pete. Oh, almost hits him. Francisco Lindor with 4 RBIs on the game. It's only the 6th inning. Let's go. Come on, Pete. Still nobody out. Runner on 2nd.
56 runs that in. Lots of 1 for 2 tonight. Lined out and struck out. Still nobody out in the inning.
Lonzo hits a ground ball in the 3rd and 1 out.
Marte and Nimmo were so close in that play that John Cora tried to here first swing king. And I would just say, watch Joey Cora. He tries to wave Nimmo and stop Marte, but they're so close. It was was lost in translation. He wanted to. I think there was a verbal communication there. He couldn't put his hand up, like you said, Ron, but they were too close together. But you're absolutely right. How many times is Joey come so close to touching the water? But I'd say he knew that he could beat the play, and he did.
Lindor's having a game, guys. He's having a game. This might be his single best game since last year against the Yankees at Citi Field with the 3 home run game.
The second base umpire, I hope there won't be one mistake of this inning. All this obstruction, that can't happen. That should not happen. Surprised that he didn't because there's a base hit. By the way. Oh, boy. And Yorbe at the time, it was not granted. The pitch was called a strike. Don't forget, Yorbe was called out with a high pitch. It was like he would call that all the way to the bench. So he's not happy. He was struck out twice tonight. Swinging in the second with that ball for a strike in the fifth. Now down 0-2, but after with his feet. And it skips out of the way. Cars try to stay there, say it cuts. Too late. Robin says I got too much of a head of steam. I'm sorry, Brett. I'm sorry. The horses were out of the barn. The only thing he forgot was the touch-on play, but then it worked out okay. And he was correct in his call. He found a good throw home. That's my take.
All right, let's go base it. And that one is right to the left field, the 2 outs. Very odd 6th inning. All right, Makana coming up. He hit a solo home run to give the Mets a 2-1 lead. Kana has been putting good at-bats together in this game as well. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. We got 113 in the stream. Mets are winning 5-2 after a 3-run double from Francisco Lindor, clearing the bases. 4 RBIs on the day for Lindor so far through 6 innings.
Shortstop, they go to Rojas before this game began. Springs the line late because of the ball goes in his foot. And then Chisholm had to come out of the game. So basically, they lost their middle infield. And they paid the price for it. That's just amazing. It's like the Mets just like zeroed in on the weakness. I kind of believe that they're just fortunate. It's not funny how those things happen. The ball finally as they say.
Oh, Mark, get this one home. Ball should end the inning, and it does. But not after Francisco Lindor with a 3-run clearing double to give the Mets a 5-2 lead. We'll see if the Mets can hold this lead this time going into the bottom of the 6th. So we're going to go around the league really quickly with the scores. Top of the 5th, Houston and the Yankees, no score. Red Sox lead the Guardians 2-1. Tampa Bay's leading the Pirates 3-2. The Dodgers are beating the Braves 2-0 in the top of the 4th. Nationals Rangers no score. A's Royals no score. Rockies Twins no score. Orioles White Sox. Orioles lead 1-0 in the first inning. Top of the 2nd, Blue Jays Brewers no score. Cubs Cardinals no score. And the rest of the games are yet to be played. So good news for the Mets front right now. The Dodgers are beating the Braves 2-0 in the top of the 4th. So far, so good in that case. And the Phillies face the Padres tonight. So good news so far for the Mets. Mets are winning, Braves are losing. That's a good sign. So we'll see how that ends up. The Mets still got some work to do to win this ball game. Again, they scored 5 runs against Alcantara. I don't think anybody was expecting 5 runs against Alcantara, but you know what? 2 big home runs by Lindor and Kana, and then Lindor with the big hit so far in the game. A 3-run base clearing double to give the Mets a 5-2 lead. So the Mets are hitting Alcantara right now. Again, The biggest key, and it was shown in this game so far, Alcantara, when he pitches from the stretch, is not as dominated as he is from the windup. And he's so good that you don't have a lot of people. You don't get a lot of people on base, so he's mostly always down it. But when he get runners on and he pitches from the stretch, he is not as dominant. He's still got good stuff, but he tends to leave a couple of pitches over the plate. And that pitch to Lindor that he crushed was a hanging slider that Lindor crushed to right center field to give the Mets a 5-2 lead. So here we go, guys. Bottom of the sixth, Mets lead 5-2. Walker is still in the game. Walker has been out pitching Alcantara so far.
Walker has the lead the third time. Was not able to hold it the first two. First is triple for Jesus Aguilar. Is it so wide, but it's 0-2.
Alcantara's pitch count was 86, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. How about Walker? 3 pitches strikeout. And Walker only has 80 pitches, so he can definitely go 7. Come on, Ty. Let's go.
Whose absence from this game certainly had a big hand in the Mets scoring 3 runs at the top of this inning. On the strike to Garcia.
Yeah, you're not getting Contreras just for McCann. If you saw that crazy trade, it was what was it? Beatty and McNeil for Wilson Contreras, which is no way that's happening. Strike 2, nice pitch. Yeah, John. So what I think it was, even though Nimmo did not touch second base, the reason why the second baseman tagged him with the ball in his hand and not the glove, the umpire called him out. So according to the rule, if the umpire calls you out and the replay shows he was safe, he automatically gets that base, along with Marte being safe at first base. That's why he was safe at second. At least that's how I interpreted the rule. Yeah, so the umpire cannot deceive the runner. That's actually a rule. You can't deceive the runner. If you get called out by the umpire, why does the runner run? It makes no sense. So that's the reason why they gave him second base.
Speculation that he might pitch Sunday in this series that is not going to happen. I want to make Major League trying to be a rubber club.
All right, another strikeout for Walker. Walker is pitching his ass off tonight. What a splitter. That switch change is nasty. Yeah, the Mets have to make a decision on Walker. I have no problem giving Walker another contract. He's pitched well. You know, let's see what he does in the second half, though, because that was his Achilles heel last year.
Just over 200 at-bats last year, 9 home runs so far this year.
Ground ball repeat, and it should end the inning. Nice quick inning for Taijuan Walker at the end of the 6th inning. He has 89 pitches going to the 7th. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if he comes out for the 7th. The pitch, the 7th inning, and just have a guy ready in the bullpen just in case he gets a little bit in trouble. You can get the bullpen ready for the Mets. So the Mets and Taijuan Walker has outpitched Alcantara in this game. The Mets lead 5-2 going to the top of the 7th with the offense coming back on the field. So we'll see how it's going. The Mets are pitching extremely well right now. Can't ask any more from Walker. 2 runs, 6 innings. If he doesn't pitch another inning, that's a good stat line right there, especially against Alcantara. And I don't think anybody expected the Mets to score 5 runs against Alcantara. So, again, I said the Mets were going to score runs in this series. I didn't think it was going to be in this game that much, but they showed what they can do. Lindor, 4 RBIs, 1 home run, and a bases clearing double to give him 4 RBIs, and Mark Hanna with the other run of the ball game with a solo home run. So the Mets are doing well. And again, I told you it's a different mindset against the Marlins now with this Mets team. I think it was extremely important to take 3 out of 4 in Citi Field against the Marlins. It's a organizational mindset where everybody knows the Marlins have been a thorn in the side of the Mets for years. And just to get that mindset out of the way, like, we can beat this team. The Mets are better than this team. They're showing it now. They hold down to win this game. They took 4 out of the first 5 against the Marlins. So far, so good. But there's still 3 innings to go. Anything can happen. So, top of the 7th, 5-2 Mets.
Well, we get back today, but the Mets is right there at number 12. Well, that's a good number. Yes. Well, Kenny Boswell. That was your number 12, your first number 12. Let's get into his fastball for a strike. So, Hunter's still out there, as he generally is. He's got 7 or more innings of 8 consecutive starts, trying to get through the 7th again. A little bit different twist this time for this team behind 5-2. Well, the words were heard against them Hunter in the 6th inning.
All right, Alcantara still pitching in the 7th, 88 pitches. With Escobar.
The defense betrayed him in that inning, and there was nobody out with a runner on second and 3 runs in. And he got the next thing that was out. So his one bad guy was the Lindor, but yeah.
Look, we saw what Walker can do in the first half last year. He's pitching just as good, if not better, this year in the first half. We got to see what he does in the second half. He might still have to take that option for $6 million if he don't pitch well in the second half. If he pitches well, he's probably going to get paid, $11, $12 million a year.
That's certainly not his name.
All right, so Escobar is out, 1 out.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Give them the day you've always wanted. It's your journey. By the world-leading neck and back experts from Modern Spine.
Eric, what are you talking about? I was live during the Astros game Wednesday. And Dom Smith gets a base hit the opposite field. Okay. 1 out hit for Dom.
Should be playing. I don't understand the center ball pitcher, right? Center ball pitcher, but we're leaving that shortstop alone with the left-handers. These net hitters.
All right, let's go, Tomas. Thank you, Ella, for the update. 3-0 Dodgers. Good, good, good. Good so far.
Where did that get that base? Where do you think that position here? He was the box. That's right.
They always want insurance runs. Never hurts.
To the field hits it. Dino reaching out an infield hit. Dino got it started.
Up the middle should be a double play, and it does end the inning. So we're going to the bottom of the 7th. Mets lead 5-2. See if Walker comes back out for the bottom of the 7th. He has 89 pitches. I'm pretty sure he'll come back out with the bullpen probably ready just in case he gets in trouble. And Alcantara is probably done after this inning as well. So we're going to the bottom of the 7th. Mets lead 5-2. Waiting for Walker to see if he's coming back out. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button for in the last couple of innings. Let's get more people in the stream. Let's have fun. Let's keep on cheering our Mets team. Lindor with the game, with basically the MVP of the game so far. 4 RBIs, solo home run, and a 3 RBI double in the 6th to give the Mets a 5-2 lead. With also the other run coming from Mark Hanna's solo home run. And once again, the Mets, showing resiliency when they're on the verge of possibly having a 3-game losing streak. Again, the game's not over, but they always find a way in that 3rd game with the possibility of having a 3-game losing streak, finding ways to win that ball game, even with one of the best pitchers in the game pitching against them. So far, so good for the Mets. Again, still got 2 more at-bats for the Marlins to come back and win this game, but I'm pretty confident that the Mets can win this ball game. Walker pitches the 7th. I'm assuming it'll be Drew Smith in the 8th with Diaz closing it out in the 9th, unless the Mets do some damage. So Lindor's daughter is at the game, which is adorable. Giving Alyssa, that is Howie Rose's daughter, high five in the stands, so that's cute. All right, guys, so bottom of the 7th, it looks like Walker's still in the game, so let's see if we can get through 7 here. Come on, Taiwan. Quick inning here. Nice pitch. Terry, I don't know how strong of a chance it is, but the Mets are interested in Castillo. Joe, I agree with that Pirates game right after the All-Star break. I was at that game in Pittsburgh with the 7-line when Stallings hit the grand slam to win the game. He hit the ball right in front of the 7-line army right there. That ball just took forever to come down. Robert, I watch all sports. All right, so 1-2 count, 94 pitches for Walker.
It's like a one-day camp trip. We've been for a long time. That's why I really like it out there for us. What you're going to love about it, too, Ronnie, is that it chronicles everything that you know about Keith. The great part is that it features his brother Gary talking about Keith throughout his life. That is amazing. I'm really excited about Stars. You know, one of our first trips this year, got to spend more time with Gary than I had had in the past. You know, he was always around the bullpen. I mean, he was just so great to be around. He's such a positive person. You know, when you go out in the bullpen, he just had something.
Well, you just have to laugh at the Knicks. Like, they traded out of the 11th pick to get no picks with this round. It's so stupid. Stallings having a good at bat here.
I'm sure what they said this season. He said the thing that amazed him when he first became a big league manager was how many big league players left the Continental, right? And
well, Stallings might get Walker out of this game after this at bat. 9 pitch at bat. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to lead to a major change. I think they made cap space to sign Brunson, which is not a great player. He's a good player, but not great. And Stallings makes it happen with the base hit right center. He's going to second. No, he stops. All right, so probably Taijuan Walker is done. 99 pitches. Stallings probably coming out of this game. Walker, yep, Walker's coming out of the game. All right, guys, so Walker, Stallings had a 10-pitch at-bat right there that basically knocked Walker out of the game. Even if Walker got him out, he was probably out of the game. So Drew Smith is going to be coming in the bottom of 7th with nobody out and a man on first. Well, the problem with what the Knicks are doing, right? I don't know if you guys know, but the Knicks hired Brunson's father as one of the coaches. So that's why there's a pretty good chance that Brunson's going to be a Knick. But you don't make cap space to sign Brunson like he's a world beater. You know, he's not making your team win a championship. He's not. He's a good player, and God knows the Knicks needed a point guard. But other than that, you know, unless they make a big trade for like a Donovan Mitchell or something like that, I don't know what the hell they were doing. So going back to the Mets, Taijuan Walker is pulled from the game. Jacob Stallings had a great at-bat, a 10-pitch at-bat that knocked Walker out of the game, got the base hit. So you got a man on first, nobody out. Drew Smith coming into the game. But Mets still have a 3-run lead, but that can come rather quickly. We shall see. Yeah, they're going to have to overpay because Dallas can pay more to Brunson than the Knicks. So the Knicks are going to have to give him the max, but it's still less than the Mavericks can give. But again, Brunson's not a guy that's going to win you a championship. He's not a star. He's a very good player, but the Knicks don't need a very good player. I mean, yeah, that might get him to like the number 7 or 8 seed and barely make the playoffs, but they're not doing damage in the playoffs. They might win a round, but other than that, they're not doing much. So waiting for Drew Smith to come in the game with one man on and nobody out in the 7th. So there's a couple more innings to go here for the Marlins to come back in this ball game. So it's not over yet. Yeah, Joe, we can go for a super max. Again, I don't know if he wants to stay there. I don't know. Again, Brunson's not crying poor if he goes to the Knicks, but still. Oh, that's cool. August 4th birthday. Braves tickets. Cool. My birthday is August 13th. Oh, hell yeah. I would take Donovan Mitchell on the heartbeat. All right, guys. So, bottom of the 7th. 1 out or nobody out. Man on. 5-2 Mets. Drew Smith in the game after Walker got pulled after a 10-pitch at bat from Stallings.
ground one run in his last 10 outings with 13 punch-outs. Last time it was against the Marlins on Monday. He worked a 1-2-3 inning in that 6-0 win in the finale of that series at Citi Field.
Robert, happy birthday if I'm not live. All right, you don't want to start 2-0 with Drew Smith here. That's not good.
Last year, but injuries have always sort of circulated. Not so far this year.
Well, I don't think we have to sweep the series. You take 2 out of 3, that's perfectly fine. Because there's a pretty good chance that the Braves are probably going to lose 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. They're already losing 3-0.
During the game, the Marlins lost their second baseman, Scherzer, to the now St. Louis Expressers.
And the Dodgers have bases loaded with nobody out right now. So, Dodgers are taking it to the Braves. Yep, we play Houston again at home. The last 2 games of the homestand. Oh, sorry about game day. My bad. Oh, where is that pitch? We called that all game. Jesus. There's a big pitch right here. Full count.
Uses that fastball upstairs very effectively. It's got perfect rise. That's what it rises to it. It's a wall, but it's behind the count. When he puts it up there above the others, he gets a swing and he's back it back. The Slider's picked up his outfits this year. He thought he had it out the last one.
Another fastball. Fouling it off. 4-0 Dodgers. Walker's final line: 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. The runner on first is his responsibility, but at the moment, that's his line. All right, so Williams is fouling those fastballs off. I think Williams got to attack him here. Eight pitches so far for Drew Smith. Another foul ball. Williams is putting a good at bat together. Well, you got to keep on going after him. Don't play games. You don't want to walk him and put the side run at the plate. Then he walked him. Well, honestly, we're the 3rd best team in the league. So, in the entire league. Even without 2 big guns. So, and we're the best team in the National League. Even though on paper we're not, but record we are. So, all right. So John Birdie's up. He's 2 for 3 on the game so far. First and second, nobody out. Well, Drew Smith is a little wild right here. Come on, Drew. Oh, boy. That's not good. Oh, yeah.
Consistently reliable arms really connect with Diaz. It's been a struggle lately.
Oh, yeah. Never make it easy.
But struggling with control leader in the Cinemax. I would not count the Birdie keeping me as a leadoff player taking a strike here. If the Drew cannot go behind 3-0, get a fastball to you like to take a cut.
And he pops it up. And it goes foul. All right. Yeah, Drew Smith doesn't really have it today so far. Come on, Drew. Oh, yeah.
It cost his team back in the sixth. Big pitch here for Drew, down 3-1. And Birdie low, 4 of the bases are loaded. So Drew Smith comes in the game with a run on the board, and he's just back-to-back walks. Half the time he runs on base with nobody out.
Bases loaded, nobody out.
This is very much out of character for Drew. Drew's been solid. Southern stats, right? 1 run in his last 10 outings. 13 punch-outs. Ravino's been pretty good in June. The left-handers have struggled. Hoping that Walker should somehow get through the 7th, wasn't able to. Had to go to the bullpen. So it's Astudillo getting his first at bat of this game after taking over for the injured Jets. Astudillo has had 32 at bats with the Marlins this year before the Minnesota trade. Does not take a lot of pitches against a guy who's just walked too well. We'll see if Astudillo's up there and swing level for the first base. He's a swinger. He does swing the
All right, here we go. This seems like it could be the game here, to be honest.
Yes. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Astudillo takes
Nice pitch. It wasn't a strike, but they called it a strike. Come on, Drew.
Third, lands at second, Birdie at first. Into the infield back and over to the hill. And Astudillo takes a break and go off the play. That's where he won. So pitches taken by Astudillo. There won't be a third. It's a lot of balls in the ground. The ground can do a lot of other plays, and that's going to be what Drew is looking for here. Good step out right there.
Here's him big get hurt. Lugo was warming. Oh, excuse me. Ottavino's up in the bullpen, warming up. All right, 1-2. Nice pitch. Wow, that was a nice pitch that he fouled off there.
Sorry, Gary, lean out over the plate on that one. That's all the 3 or 4 inches outside off the plate. Shows you not part of his game, but fastball in. It's a great pitch here. 1-2 coming.
Yeah, struck him out. Wow. Big strikeout for Drew.
Has a strikeout for the first out of the inning. Well, he told me he likes to swing the bat. That pitch was at least 2 feet out of the strike zone. But when that ball was supposed to be fastball in, it was fastball off. He got it in. He threw it over his head.
Good pitching by Drew to get back in this inning. All right, we got to be careful with Soler here. Ooh, don't throw that pitch. That was a hanging breaking ball. He missed that pitch. Oh, boy. Come on, Drew. Oh, he's called that a strike already. Nice pitch. 1-2. Come on, Drew. I think you got to go up and in here. Tries the slider outside again. Come on. I think you got to go up and in here. Can't keep on throwing that slider on the outside corner. And he's doing it again. Got him. Yes. Nice pitching by Drew Smith. What fooled me? Do that slider again on the outside corner. There we go. Come on, one more. All right. So Garrett Cooper has been very good this year for the Marlins. Dangerous hitter. He's had killed the Mets in the past. 476 average with the bases loaded and 2 grand slams. Jesus. Come on, Drew.
Straight up on the infield. We'll see Cooper go to the opposite gap. Cannot shift it. You got to play traditional positioning on the infield.
Come on, Drew. Let's go.
347 this year with runners in scoring position.
Come on, Drew.
Cooper came into the day 60 the National League of batting. I think it's a career here. This week he does a bit of a stay on the field. Oh, boy. Smith has already walked 2 and struck out 2 of the inning. Do not want to put the time and run on second base. Jesus Aguilar would be next.
Well, you got to challenge him here. Jesus Christ.
Is on a run with his 3rd walk of the inning. And the Bentley is trimmed to 5-3. And a bunch shown off to this scene.
All right, so taking out Drew Smith for Ottavino for Jesus Aguilar. Well, pitching change. Adam Ottavino coming in. 3 walks for Drew Smith in that game. That run goes to Taijuan Walker. Oh, Jesus. You strike out 2 batters, and then you walk them on 4 pitches. Can't make it up. Jesus. Lordy Lord. But we'll see if Ottavino can get it done. Jesus Aguilar is coming up with the bases loaded. Again, another dangerous hitter. But you can't walk Cooper on 4 pitches there. Can't. I'd rather you throw the ball over the plate and let him beat you. Mets still got a 2-run lead. There's 2 outs, bases loaded. So gave themselves a little bit of a cushion, but a base hit here can tie the game. Jesus. Again, it's never easy when you're a Mets fan. It's never easy. Maybe once in our lifetime, the Mets will win 110 games, swim through the playoffs, no problem, win a World Series with no issue. But does that ever happen? No. So, just the way it goes, guys. But, listen. Yeah, we got to trust Ottavino. You got to go with the guys you got. You know what? I think they're going with Ottavino only because Aguilar can go fishing a little bit when it comes to strikeouts and stuff like that. But he's very good with the bat as well. RM, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. Hey, the ball is out of here. How you doing, buddy? You got news? What news you got? Oh, that's awesome, buddy. Good luck. All right, guys. So we're still in the bottom of the seventh. Marlins got a run in with the walk. Drew Smith 3 walks. Ottavino in. Jesus Aguilar at bat. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Strike 1. Good start. Come on, Adam. Let's go. And he pops it up. Should end the inning. And it does. All right, Adam. Good job. All righty. That was a hanger. Aguilar just missed it. Ghost, what's up, buddy? Long time no see. Yeah, this ball is out of here, man. Good luck, man. Hopefully you get it. I bet it's a lot of hard work. So we're going to the top of the 8th. The Mets lead 5-3. The Marlins just got a run. Let's be honest, guys. Could have been a lot worse. Bases loaded, nobody out. Only one run. I'll take it any day of the week. So Mets still got a 2-run lead. Let's get a couple more runs here. Pad the lead, get some insurance runs. I'm assuming Ottavino will come back out for the 8th inning. And we'll be good to go. Oh, okay, John. Cool. So far, the Mets will make it interesting as always. But, as much as people talk about the bullpen, again, Drew Smith just didn't have it today. He's been good for us most of the year, 2.03 ERA. Ottavino had a couple of hiccups, but he's been very good this year as well. And what a huge out against Aguilar right there to get out of the inning. So a pretty good chance that Ottavino's going to come out for the 8th. I think we should all change our name. My name is Humana Humana. How about that? Stanton with another home run. It's funny. Stanton was batting 0.93 before yesterday's game. He hit a 3-run bomb to tie the game and then hit another home run today. It's crazy. That's why you got to love baseball. Anything can happen. Everything can change on a dime. Sorry, guys. So once again, guys, just so an update. I know I said yesterday on Mets Live that I'm doing all 3 games live. Unfortunately, I totally forgot about tomorrow. I'm going to the Brooklyn Cyclone game tomorrow with the Seven Line Army because the Seven Line Army goes to all the minor leagues clubs once a year to support the minor league clubs and the business there and all that around the area. Because we do drink a lot and eat a lot. So he goes to Binghamton also, and he also goes to Syracuse. So I'll be going there on Saturday. So I won't be doing the game on tomorrow for the day game. Just to let you guys know. I totally forgot about it. I got the email, and that's how it reminded me. So no live stream tomorrow, but maybe I'll do a live stream at the Brooklyn Cyclone game. We'll see. The game's at 6:40, 6 o'clock tomorrow. So maybe I'll set up a live stream at the Brooklyn Cyclone game. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. So here we go, guys. Top of the 8th, Mets lead 5-3. See if the Mets can add some insurance runs. Floro is in for the Marlins. Right-handed pitcher, 5.4 ERA in 16 games. So here we go, guys.
So he was 7 innings of war for the 9th straight start. He was 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 home runs. And Floro comes in to face the top of the order in the 8th inning.
Oh, come on, Todd. That's greedy. I'll take 100 mil. All right, top of the order for the Mets. Nimmo leading off. Come on.
With an infield hit. Nimmo with the bunt hit. And then Marte with the ground ball to the right side that resulted in 2 calls getting overturned. This tag, this call there, and this call to first base. Which really a double play. But sure to challenge both calls, won both challenges, and the next to the Lindor driven 3 with his dump.
Joe Brown holds the franchise record 16 straight, 7 or more appearances starts. 7 innings more in 1996.
It's an interesting name to raise.
The middle with another bunt, but right at the pitcher this time. Went out. And Nimmo tried it again.
When that play happened in the 6th inning, can you imagine what a conflagration that would have been?
That's the deal. Would have been, you would have had a hole in the ground with Brown's eyes. With the type of
Eternal silver, factor. I mean, Kevin Brown was harder on his teammates than any pitcher I think I've ever seen.
Gaylord Perry was tough. Perry was? Yes, Gaylord was tough on his fielders.
Marte with that drop ball for us to do.
I didn't see this guy. I always heard pitcher Palmer. That one was been tough on the fielders. I really would be tough on Blue Caught everything. He's going to be tough on Blue Caught. The ball player. The Brooks.
They had that's right. That's the greatest way. That's right. They had a great defense.
Skipper, it's the box. Baby Johnson, second base. Buford is not anybody called about Buford. Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson good. What's a bad move to play?
Okay, Brown had the prototypical power signal. To Marte.
That's right.
2021. That nice hand before his first at bat tonight. Well, they could have been just a minute. Think about that. But go on deck. After it's jail, it's all this stuff. And into the dugout, I won't get the lines on this thing. It was right at time scoreboard brought to you by Buckhead. Julio Urias shutting out the Braves through the first 5 innings. Trey Turner going to with 4-0. Freddie Freeman's return to Atlanta. It's been an emotional one for him.
Well, Jonathan, let me give you a little update. The Phillies are going to get their ass kicked by the Padres today. So your Phillies have been like 8 games out for like the last week and a half now. What's going on with you guys? Braves are losing, which we're both happy about.
That is so good for the Red Sox. Red Sox have the best ERA in baseball in June. Early in the season, there was talk about Pavetta getting traded because the Red Sox looked like they might fall out of the race. Now they were very much in contention. They would have a wild card if the season ended today. 7th pitch in the at-bat coming from Floro to Marte. And still good for that one at base 2. Making 4 work. Good It's not 64. That's about
He's a beast. Alvarez is a beast, man. He's still working on his defense, but he's got a lot better with framing and all that. Alvarez is a freaking beast.
And 18 is pretty good. Another tough at bat.
Marte's putting a good at bat together here.
This will be pitch number 9 to Marte.
Marte ground ball to third. And get it out. Yeah, I think he's batting like 260, 265, which is not bad for a catcher, to be honest. His power is outrageously good. Defense, again, still can work on it, but I think he's going to be fine defensively. Oh yeah, Beatty's been good too. I mean, most of our top 5 prospects have been excellent. Alvarez, Beatty, Vientos have been excellent. Yeah, that's why I don't want to rush into the majors. Everybody was like, "Oh, make him the DH." So you're gonna make him the DH and not catch. That's dangerous for a young guy. He's only 20. Like, it's insane. Come on, Frankie. And let's be honest, we all know that AA is like the new AAA now. AA have the best players now, not AAA. Oh, Matt Allen is our top pitching prospect. He's finally somewhat healthy, so. Yeah, Danny Valdespin, I think he's playing an independent ball. Last time I heard. Yeah, well, the good thing about the DH now for both of us sakes now in the National League, if he's having, getting old catching, he could still hit and be a DH. So that's a good thing. Lindor pops it up, misses that ball. He thought he can get a handle on that. So we're going to the bottom of the 8th. The Mets lead 5-3. And yeah, when it comes to, the Mets don't have a lot of pitching prospects. Remember, we gave up, what's his name? Jesus. Gill for a Bassett. So we gave up, that was our other pitching. I'm sorry, JT Ginn, who was our pitching prospect for Bassett. So that's one guy. And then you got, look in the draft, you're going to try. I think the Mets are going to try to get, a college pitcher or two that can start at AA right away, and that could be up in like a year or two, because you're going to need those guys. Yeah, and we gave up all the prospects for Bassett, which you have to do because Bassett's a proven guy. But you're always going to need those young guys coming up through the system. Yeah, JT, like I said, Realmuto is still a very good catcher. His offense is struggling a little bit because he's getting older. You know that, Jonathan. I mean, it's still not a bad signing for the Phillies. I mean, Mets and the Phillies needed a catcher at the time. But the good thing is you got the DH now where you can put him most of the time. It's just that most catchers suck in the game now. So, yeah, Joe, he is a reliever now, yes. So, once again, guys, the Mets lead 5-3 going to the bottom of the 8th. It looks like Ottavino is going to come out for the 8th. So, see if the Mets can hold on to a 2-run lead, excuse me. Yeah, but can JT Realmuto play first every day? That might be the issue. All right, guys. So Ottavino's in the game still. Bottom of the eighth, 5-3 Mets.
Going to fly out. That was down to the eighth. Obviously, Garcia will do that.
Hoskins the eighth. That might make sense. That's true. Hoskins is not a great first baseman anyway, so that makes sense.
It would be something if Ottavino can get you through the eighth. Garcia's over 3, lined out, grabbed it out, struck it. And first base slider hit on the
Ground ball should be an easy out. And it is.
Garcia not even making an effort to run. He's out by 30 feet.
You know, Jonathan, I applied about 10 years ago. It was actually it was a front office role. I believe it was like some type of advisor. It was like analytical advisor or something like that. That was before they had mostly analytical departments. So yeah, I might do it again for a scout. That would be fun.
Garcia walked all the way back to the dugout for first base, which makes me think that he's hurt him in some fashion. Somewhat slower. If this is Sanchez with 1 out, get to the button, takes a strike. Jimmy Yacoubadis is up in the bullpen for Miami.
So 1 out. Ottavino only has 4 pitches, so that's good.
Trying to save Diaz for the night. Just striking to Sanchez. What's it coming? That's grab. That's what he's bringing to up. Good seat for it. Grab the Rodriguez Marlins shirt. How about that? Go to the ballpark. Bring a glove. Little nods. And there you are. You got it.
Gotta hustle. It's one name that can piss off your teammates and your coaches. Oh, where was that pitch? Where was that pitch? Right on the inside corner. Jesus Christ. Jonathan, I'm going to Philly in August with the 7 line, so I'll hit you up and I'll let you know when I'm there. I'll probably go to like 2 games, something like that. All right, Don. The cheesecake's on you. No problem. But yeah, I'm going August 25th. I believe that's when we play the Phillies. I'll be there. I think it's a Saturday. Let me see. Yeah, it's a Saturday. So I'll probably go to the Friday, Saturday. No, the 20th. When we're in Philly. Yeah, August 20th through the 22nd. I'm sorry, the 19th to the 21st. Sorry. But I'll be there on the 19th and the 20th. Oh, no, man. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yes, I'll be there on the 19th and the 20th of August when we face Philly in Philly. Yeah, that was a strike. Well, here's Jacob Stallings with the tying run at the plate. And he calls that a strike, which is the same pitch. Yeah, Johnson, so I'll hit you up when I'm over there. Maybe we can, like you said, get cheesesteaks, get a beer. I actually had make a pizza the last time I was in Philly last year. Pretty good. Not bad at all. Don't get me wrong. It's not New York pizza, but it's pretty good. Yeah, that was fun. throwing hot dogs at me. Oh, last time in Philly. Double play ball. 1, 2, double play. Yes. Beautiful play by Guillermo. There we go. Going to the top of the ninth. Mets lead 5-3. Guillermo with a beautiful turn to Lindor, the first. Double play. Nice play. New York pizza is New York pizza. Come on. Yeah, that was kind of funny in Philadelphia. Like I said, I wasn't cursing. I wasn't treating anybody like crap. I was just cheering my team. Let's go Mets chants. You know, I believe it was J.D. Davis not J.D. Davis. Somebody hit a home run to give like a 1-0 lead, and I was cheering like any other fan would. And it was later in the game when the Phillies started to come back after DeGrom left the game, and they started throwing hot dogs at me, and I turned around and was like, "Yo, at least put ketchup and bread. Like, come on, like give me the whole hot dog bun and the hot dog. Come on." So, like I played it off as a joke. Like I turned around, I was like, "Yo, where's the bread and the ketchup?" Like you just paid $9 for a hot dog. Like that's your fault, not mine. Like I said, if I was paying attention, I would have ate it. Let's go. Yeah. So Ottavino once again really did his job again. So in inning in the third for Ottavino, big out against Aguilar with the bases loaded last inning, and did his job in his second inning. Oh well, at least the full inning for Ottavino to get the double play to get out of the inning. Now we go to the top of the ninth. Can the Mets get some insurance runs? We shall see. Well, you know what? Honestly, I think they were drunk. Honestly, but again, you got dickheads in all stadiums, all fans. So it is what it is. But you know what? I'm not gonna get mad in an opposing team's ballpark because it's just gonna cause more problems. I just made a joke. People laughed, and then it was done. So, all right, guys. So top of the ninth, Mets lead 5-3. Can the Mets get some more insurance runs? We'll see. Right now, Diaz has a save situation.
Well, the Mets with a 5-3 lead as we start the ninth, looking for some insurance before bringing in Edwin Diaz for the bottom of the ninth. Alonso's gone 0 for 3 today. The 3-hit game in Houston on Tuesday, took 0 for Wednesday, and 0 for so far tonight. Now facing Yacobonis.
Sounds good, Aaron. Sounds good.
Academy of New Jersey. Yacobonis gets down the first strike.
Thank you, but I'll make sure the bun and the ketchup and mustard. I'll be happy. That's it. Oh well, football is much worse. If you're a Giant fan going to the Eagles game. Again, I'm a Cowboys fan, so screw all those teams. But I've been to Philly. I don't think Philly. I think they hate Giant fans more than Dallas fans because I had friends that are Giant fans that went there and they didn't have a good time. But when I went to Philly for an Eagles game when the Cowboys played, I was fine. But then the Cowboys won the game. But again, if you're not an asshole, they usually don't treat you like shit. Just that simple. I cheered my team. I didn't go in anybody's face. I just cheered. That was it. Come on, Pete. And Pete strikes out on the fourth pitch. I don't know, Jonathan, because I was there. Like, I was actually cool with the people around. When I got to the seat, I'm one of those guys that I would buy a couple people beers that would sit next to me. That's the way I am. I'm just that type of guy. I am. Like, if I go to a opposing ballpark, I don't do it all the time, but, like, you know, I try to give a good vibe starting. You know, when I bought the beers for, I think it was like the four guys that sat next to me, they were like, did you poison us? I'm like, nah, nah, nah. I'm like, come on. But they were cool. Like I said, it's not everybody. It's certain people that just go to get drunk and act an idiot. So it is what it is. Well, if you hate Dallas more, you didn't show it to me. That's for sure.
I think just the defensive players turned that ball that could have been hit into 2 outs. How to teach that?
And Lewis Kiami strikes out on 3 pitches.
You want to striking out 3 times in the game. I've seen him chasing out strikes on like that very often. So you have to let us strike out the first 2.
Well, I don't like Jerry Jones either. He's just an insane human being. Yeah, honestly, I don't like football games in person anymore. It's kind of boring. Like, it's cool the experience, but after you experience a couple times, it's like, Like, I like being home watching all the games, game day and all that, on NFL Network and all that stuff. So it's more fun at home.
This is a fastball slider pitch. Yeah. Let's tell me if the baseball for that people should the guy whose name begins with the Yak.
All right, so we got 2 outs, kind of up, 5-3 Mets stuff.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I agree, Jared. I agree. When you have your owner, the GM, it's a problem. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson definitely took care of that business in the 90s. Yeah, it's the same reason why Mets and Yankee fans hate each other. When you got teams in the same city, you're going to hate each other. It's just that simple. But I think the hatred is more stronger for Mets and Yankee fans than it is for Jets and Giant fans. Because at least the Mets and Yankees play every year. The Jets and Giants only play every 4 years. So.
State of the art in terms of making a spectacular double play. Talk about being strong up the middle. These 2 guys, they're number 1.
Okay, that takes a ball outside. No, I think the Jets are going to surprise people now. They got a good GM now, good coach. They actually might have a decent team. Well, John, you should hate the Yankees. They beat you in the World Series. Even though it's very hard for a Met fan, like, you couldn't root for anybody. You just hope that both teams fought each other and beat each other up, and it couldn't be a World Series end.
First 3-2 count for Canada today. Not to the 9th inning.
And Canada strikes out. All right, guys. So it comes down to Edwin Diaz closing the game in the bottom of the 9th, trying to save a 2-run lead and stop the Mets from getting their first 3-game losing streak of the year. So we'll see if Diaz can close it out. Again, the Mets have been resilient all year when they are having the threat of a 3-game losing streak. Well, yeah, John, that's true with the '09 World Series. Like, it was weird. Like, the Phillies, I feel like the Phillies were a better team, but the Phillies didn't help themselves in that World Series. But like I said, it was a tough World Series for a Mets fan. Like, Jesus, like, the Phillies and the Yankees. Like, who do you root for? You can't root for the Phillies. And like, can you root for the Yankees? I sure as hell didn't. Honestly, I watched every game, but I had no emotion. I'm like, oh, nice play. Oh, that's a home run. Oh, that's cool. But that was about it. I had no emotion in that series. Well, I think the Eagles are probably the best. Can you say that there's any really good team in the NFC East this year? Somebody's got to win the division. I mean, the best team on paper right now is probably the Eagles. So, I don't know what the hell the Cowboys are. I can't even tell you. I don't think the Giants are going to be any good. They'll be probably a little bit better, but they're not going to be good. The, you know, the commies of Washington are, they're what they are every year. They're a team that's just weird, and they have good players, and then they just never perform. So, but I mean, I think the Eagles are going to win the division just by default because I don't think any other team is really that good. But I don't think anybody would be shocked if anybody wins that division because none of the teams are really that good. All right, guys. So bottom of the night, Mets lead 5-3. Ben Diaz close out the game and save the Mets from having their first 3-game losing streak of the year. Let's see. All right, Edwin. Don't make this interesting. Joe, that's true. They'll make the playoffs and still lose to one of those teams. All right, come on, Edwin. Let's win this ball game, boys. Let's go.
Two in the order for Miami in the bottom of the ninth. Williams, John Birdie, and Williams Astudillo. Williams 1 for 2 in the long tonight. Diaz starts him off with a slider for a strike, number 1. Vino with a sharp inning with a third in relief. And no runs in 1 hit. The bullpen has been spotless tonight, other than the walks by Bruce Smith. That's lined in.
And that's a base hit. All right, that's a leadoff hit. It might be a double. No, it's not. Nemo kept him at first. All right, so that was a base hit. Oh, John, yeah, about 10 years ago, I tried to apply for an advisor role in the analytics department. I didn't get it. I interviewed, but I didn't get it. But maybe I'll try for scouting. We'll see. All right, so it might be getting interesting here. Let's see. Marlins have been fighting the entire game here. Ooh. All right, John, cool one. So Diaz is struggling with it.
After this, you get asked to deal on deck, so they're behind him. Sometimes it seems as though Edward has better control of the slider than it does on the fastball.
5-3 Mets. Bottom 9.
He's got 2 different break balls. One kind of spins in there for a strike. One snaps off.
Oh, where was that pitch?
And now it's 3-1.
That was a good take by Bernie. That's a tough pitch to lay off. I mean, it just missed.
That's the deal on that. He is making things complicated. Bernie throws one to the right side. Yorme gets the lead.
All right, got the lead, 1-1 out.
Double up Bernie on that one. But they erased the lead runner for the first out.
So no shift for the Mets on Bernie.
Thank God they played straight up and not to shift. That would have been a base hit right through the second baseman.
Just missed tag on yellow, set the stage for the Mets to take the lead in the sixth. Then he struck out with the bases loaded in the seventh. Now he comes up, time run to complete at the bottom of the ninth.
Because of his last step back, it was early in this at bat.
Oh, where was that pitch?
Just below the strike zone.
This umpire sucks. Yeah, John, I know. The Mets had a long West Coast trip, man. That game sucked.
Good chance to turn two. That's the Beatles' lack of speed. There goes Bernie. Swinging fast. Throw to second by Nito. And just beats the tag.
Oh, he made it.
I think Yorme thought he had him, and Bernie may be shaken up.
Shook it off quickly.
So he might be out. He might have got thrown out at second here. Let's see.
Nito did. Yorme took the high throw and got him tagged down quickly on Bernie. And this was awfully close.
Look at Nito throwing for the knee.
He might be out.
Did he slide into his foot? Yeah, he did. This is going to be an outfall, I think. Imagine if his first time getting thrown out in June.
You cannot get thrown out on this. And you're right. Slid into Yorme's foot. Yorme got the tag on the shoulder and the helmet.
Yep, he slid into his foot.
Never got to that almost. He did on the far side. That's a tough one.
Bernie appears to be okay.
I thought maybe this late slide he might have hyperextended his knee.
No, I'm a forklift driver at Costco.
It's in the air on the car, so right side of that bag, the right field side of the bag. So you're saying it's too hard to overturn it because he was going to see on the field. He got mostly foot. I think he's out. I got him out too. All right, let's see.
Yeah, I think he's out, guys. Let's see.
Before he even engaged the play.
Waiting for the
He gets
challenge.
out of the air and says, "No, no, no." First of all, you don't even know what I need on field.
He's out. 2 out. Yes. That is a huge out.
Horrible play by John Bernie. And you understand he's an aggressive player, but you're down by 2 runs and it means nothing. Yep. And now it's the second out. In the bottom of the ninth.
Go.
Oh, that can't happen.
The Rams have made some huge mistakes in this game.
How about we were thrown to his knee?
Come on, Evan. Finish it up.
Bernie has been successful 21 times in a row, but he's caught there.
Like 2.
Out of the game. And now the Marlins are down to their final strike.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.
He got picked off first base in the first inning by Walker, and now thrown out in the ninth inning when he's run meant absolutely nothing.
Come on, Evan.
And now Diaz 1 strike away, 1-2 coming. That's the Beatles now. It's back 101-mile-an-hour fastball to stay alive.
Stupid play, but I'll take it for the Mets.
It's a big masters of taking advantage of opponents' mistakes this year. This is one of those games.
The good teams do not make the mistakes.
It's the Beatles that I thought was slide of that time.
Come on, Aaron. Let's go. Finish it up.
The hero could be one of the heroes of this game. There's one of the heroes of the game. So kind of overshadowed. We led off with a big step. That big 3-1 6 inning got the ball rolling, and now a beautiful throw for the lead.
1-2 coming to Astudillo. Reaches toward, he pumps it toward the goal. Yorme gets to it on a hop, the quick throw.
Ah, he's safe. Damn it. What a weird hit.
As that ball hung in the air along
to infield hit
Damn
for
it.
Astudillo. Wow. What did you see Astudillo beat out pretty ground ball? He couldn't place that many hitter, and the lack of speed to get to Kiowa produced a base hit. And a flowing long loss for Astudillo. So now the best home run down of the lineup for the Marlins. Jorge Soler comes to bat.
All right. Oh, not over yet, guys.
Two on the Astudillo at first. And Soler gets a shot right by George. Got it on the backhand.
Put it in the books. Yes.
The Mets take full advantage.
There we go, guys. The Mets avoid another 3-game losing streak. Take the game 5-3. It was not easy, but the Mets got it done with 4 RBIs from Francisco Lindor. Got the game-winning hit in the 6th, clearing the bases with the bases loaded. Lindor does the job. MVP of the game. Bullpen did well. Ottavino, Drew Smith struggled, but Ottavino came in, saved the day, and Diaz closed the game. Mets back on the winning path. Nice win. This is the type of win that can get this team going. Get a couple of wins in a row. Get a winning streak going here. Once again, the Mets do it again. They avoid a 3-game winning streak. They resilient. 46-26, back to 20 games over 500. Got a 4.5 game lead. Game a half game on the Braves. The Braves are losing. Let's see. Let me check the score real quick. I think it was 4-0 the last time I checked. It is 4-1 in the top of the 8th, so Dodgers still in the good lead in the top of the 8th, so the Mets could go back to 5 games in front in the NL East. So there we go, guys. That's exactly what the Mets need to do. They weathered the storm against Alcantara there. Mets are absolutely a team that finds a way to not have extended losing streaks. And that's amazing without their top 2 pitchers in the rotation. So Mets win 5-3, take game 1 of the series. Once again, guys, tomorrow's game is at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I believe. 4 o'clock? Okay. It's at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Again, I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow because I totally forgot that I'm going to the Brooklyn Cyclones game tomorrow with the 7-Line Army. So no live stream tomorrow, but I'll probably go live in Brooklyn to say what up to you guys. John, have a good day, man. Thank you for tuning in. So Mets win 5-3. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button if you didn't before you leave. And I will see you guys on Sunday for game 3. Hopefully it'll be a game where the Mets could sweep the series against the Marlins. Once again, guys, Mets win 5-3, 20 games over 500, 4.5 game lead, possibly 5 game lead if the Braves lose tonight. Once again, guys, everybody have a great night. As always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. Nice performance by the Mets. Have a good night, guys. See you on Sunday.